Oh, Jesus.
Like,
Thank you for bringing that up, Gary. That reminded me.
I just don't understand how the Jews just keep getting ripped on, and like how like you think that you want to talk about like groups of people that have suffered over the years. Like even most recently, like the Holocaust was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things compared to what we're actually talking about now when it comes to reparations and stuff like that. Like
75 years. Well,
I'd be more
75 years since 45.
I'd be more concerned about paying reparations as someone with German heritage than I would be about paying reparations to to an African American, where who knows if my family they didn't own slaves in America. I'll tell you that much.
Don't feel bad. They have Israel.
Oh, I don't feel bad. Like according to everything I read, they brought the Jews brought it upon themselves.
Yeah, everybody's fucking tweeting from particular spheres of Twitter all of a sudden now are going, oh wait, it's the Jews' fault.
Yep.
So would the world be a better place if Israel didn't exist? Or would it just be somewhere else?
No, because then the Palestinians would just be fighting the Jordanians.
Eliminate the Palestinians, Israelis, like just that pure massive land. Like, if that did not exist, do you think the world would be a better place historically, or do you think it would just be some other group of people that would?
If the Holy Land didn't exist, or if the state of Israel didn't exist?
I mean, both. What's the difference at this point?
Okay, well, the fucking difference is that the Holy Land is claimed by 3 different Abrahamistic religions. Israel is the modern state that encompasses the territory. So if the Holy Land doesn't exist, the whole of the fucking world would change, but I don't think it'd get any better. And if Israel didn't exist, if it was only just the fucking Palestinians that were there, what's the guarantee that they're not fighting Egypt or Jordan or Syria or Lebanon, any of those fucking countries during the 1960s?
Is there more than just landmass? If you want to talk about like holy lands, I put that in parentheses. Like Ethiopia is in like essentially referenced. The area of Ethiopia is essentially referenced in the 3 different religions between Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Yeah, like you don't
Ark of the Covenant there and all that shit.
Yeah, like that's clearly one of the most holy, technically, once again, finger quotations, holiest places in the world, and you don't see the same actions you do over towards the Palestinian and area.
Well, the answer is in the history of Ethiopia. The tribes that constitute Ethiopia have held that land. They never had it fucking swept away from them, like happened after World War I with the Ottomans. Got land stripped from them and it got made into the British Mandate. And then
the Red Sea was parted by Moses, according to Texas. Essentially Ethiopia and the Red Sea there. So if you want to talk about like landmass and gain, like you got to go back more than how many years? I don't know. Maybe it's not as frequent as other parts, but let's leave the Jews alone, guys. The more I think about it, they don't.
The matter is in history and control, though. The Jews didn't control Israel,
or
right? No, they didn't control either of them. So, but there's a difference with Germany. Are we talking about the foundation of the modern state, or what? No, CJ is in bullshit. You might have to drag him to the right place, but it's just in the particular histories of it. The moment that the 2-state solution got brought up with Israel and Palestine, that was a guarantee for conflict because both sides held very firm beliefs that the land was theirs. And from the fucking Arab perspective, the Jews, the Jews or the Israelites, whichever fuck you want to call them, were a encroaching people backed by some of the most powerful governments on earth who, let's just say it for what it was, the Arab world hadn't been able to compete with since the 1800s. So now you have this fucking group of people that are just coming in and by just mandate of might are being given this land because the Arabs can't fucking fight against America or the Soviets or Britain. Well, they've tried. They fucking tried, and and it didn't really work out for them a lot of the time. So
It's because Americans and white people are clearly superior. And no, wait, I forgot. We're savages who are genetically inferior.
God,
Yes,
Nick Cannon.
according to
Yeah,
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
But, like,
Ah.
here's the thing. If there's a group you really don't want to, like, historically want to fuck with for, try and take control over, it's probably going to be white males.
Yeah.
We run the world. Is it right or wrong? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if that's a fight you really want to pick, I mean, go for it, guys. That's a bunch of different groups, not one in particular. Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what people constantly fucking forget in this country is that
You want
white
the power?
people
come get it.
are white people are not exactly confined to one particular color group, or even one ethnic group. That is an all-encompassing term
Yeah.
made up in the U.S. as a means of trying to continuously assimilate more European immigrants into the country as they came off of the boats.
All right, get your bigoted
Yeah.
views out of this podcast.
oh, it's gonna get a lot better. I fucking tell you. Have we started this shit?
It's been
Like-
recording for a while.
Oh,
I'm
it's starting.
so
Okay,
fired
so
up.
I am
But
so
let-
fired up and pissed off that if we get canceled and I get canceled, it's gonna be because of this recording right here.
yeah. Well,
This one today.
Yeah,
What?
this
I'm
I'm fucking done. Like,
All right,
I'm
let's hear it.
fucking done.
What do we have to say?
go ahead, Gary.
Yeah,
Go on.
Everything, like starting with the
Let's go.
McCloskey, St. Louis, like constitutionally they cannot take those guns because they went onto a private road. If this was the
Yeah.
public square, which is the word I was looking for a couple weeks ago when talking about Twitter, this was the public squares and they have nothing to defend. But that road, since it's privately owned because it's part of a gated community where you pay for that,
Yeah.
you can brandish a gun and you can point it at people because of the Castle Doctrine in Missouri. And yet these people who are like clear Democrats, like true blue Democrats, are now they've had their guns taken away. Like I said, basically three amendments have been violated just off the bat
Yeah.
because someone finally fucking stood up to these groups because their worthless politicians won't do it. And
Right.
listen, like,
And then
the
look
guy
what happens.
Probably when he went on CNN, yeah, well, like if you listen to a CNN interview, like Cuomo was kind of trapping him, and the guy wasn't, as skilled in the art as Cuomo was broadcasting and reporting. If you want to call that fucking shit journalism, but
Right.
like,
Creating a story.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, he's right.
Manufacturing a narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to come and say, I was concerned about my safety and my property that I've worked really hard to get.
Hmm.
And so he went out there and he said, stay the fuck away. Now, if he shot somebody, you know what? I might be saying a little more like, okay, if someone was just walking and you shot them, though it's probably
Yeah.
within your right according to the Castle Doctrine, that's sketchy, but you're just sitting there and you're defending yourself. And that's the point of the fucking Second Amendment.
Yeah. I mean,
That's why we have a Second Amendment, because these fucking people who are violently protesting, and there is precedent for that. It's not like this is yes, there are plenty of peaceful protests that I support because the shit that's happening and that they're protesting over I do not agree with. I don't think people should be afraid to go walking around at night, or ride their bike in a wealthy neighborhood just because of the color of your skin.
Yep.
I agree, that's correct. I agree that cops shouldn't target people and that there shouldn't be bad cops. I get that. But these protests and these riots and these people have been fucking. There's a reason to want to defend yourself. If they just walk past you peacefully and yell some things at you, okay, whatever. No one's getting hurt. The person's defending themselves. The people
Yeah.
are peacefully protesting on a private property, but still,
Yeah.
like, I
It's
get
your
that,
own
but-
property.
the guy should not get fucking his life destroyed that he's worked hard for. He's a lawyer. You don't just come one of those overnight.
No.
And it's so fucking ridiculous. It makes me so mad that they're going after these people, and it's like, you know what? The rest of us want to fucking do that too. Like, when I worked downtown during the riots, I would love to carry. Like, would I have
Right.
done anything with it? No, I'm too big a pussy to shoot someone. But would it have been nice to have the added security? Hell yeah. Now you're
It's-
punishing these people
Yeah.
and
No,
you're violating their amendment rights because it's what's socially cool. And because if you say something against it, like we are here, then you're racist and you won't get your office back. Like, do your fucking job,
Mhm.
politicians.
Really?
Talk about Trump not doing their job. Like, fuck that. All of these conservative politicians are not doing their job.
No.
They're letting the country go to hell, and they're
It's all
losing the
falling
culture.
apart. Yeah.
That's my first rant for the day.
it's just
I'm
more
with you,
proof
though.
that the Republicans are just they're a left party. They're a left party for allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
They're fucking just light. They're fucking liberal light or left light, however the fuck you want to phrase it. I wouldn't really call them liberal, but left light seems like a more fitting term, especially when you understand the ramifications of this. So your opposition on the political stage is saying defund the police so that there are less agents of law enforcement that are out in the streets, which embolden all we have to look at is the behavior across major metropolitan areas over the past couple of weeks is that a lack of police presence has emboldened individuals, not curtailed their desire for wanton destruction, but emboldened them. So now that statement's been made. The secondary statement that's been made by taking away their guns is that, oh, the police aren't coming to help you and you can't help yourself.
Yep.
Not to mention just announcing this to the fucking world.
Yeah. What sort of precedent does that set?
Yeah, as a media presence, it is initially giving your fucking attack dogs who are dressed and clad in black and okay to go back and accost these people some more. After they're the ones that were fucking how do you say aggrieved against initially because the protesters broke down their gate and stormed it.
Destruction of property.
Again, I tell you, when you break down a gate or have a gate broken down in the historical context, generally things don't go very well.
Yeah, usually there's bullets coming at you, and we didn't even have that in this case.
That's the same thing with the Brooks guy in Atlanta. Like, or anybody, if you don't want to die, regardless of your skin color, if you don't want to die in America, do not point a weapon at a cop.
Hello.
Do not point a weapon at a cop if you don't want to die. I don't give a shit about your skin color. Of course, the left's going to go out there and find every single video of every white person pulled a weapon on a cop and got away with it. But there's plenty of white people that get shot for pulling a gun on a cop, too.
Welcome to the shit show, Breon.
It's so fucking frustrating.
We're just going off. We're 10 minutes in, and we're lighting up.
We're talking about the McCloskeys right now, specifically.
Logan, get your big old dick out and bring your true conservative stance to this here.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm all for Anglo Scarface.
When the looting starts, the shooting starts. Like, plain and simple said. Like,
it's
we have to take our fucking country back, boys.
It's such a terrible fucking precedent to set. I still have to check up on that pawn shop owner in Minneapolis who got charged with a murder. Charged with a murder because some guy was trying to fucking loot his store. Do people not gather the idea? For all the left bitches about medical insurance not covering everything or not being expansive enough, do they understand that's how all insurance really works? That all those agencies are trying to nickel and dime you wherever the fuck they can to make sure they don't have to pay out? They understand? Yeah. It takes GoFundMe's to be able to open up fucking private businesses that were torched in these fucking protests. Do they not understand that, property will just come back? No, it just doesn't. It doesn't magically appear out of thin air because we've all agreed to the system of monetary exchange that makes it very easy for all of us to live our daily lives and gets rid of a needless barter system. But what do I know? What the fuck do I know?
Well, good on fucking Trump for denying Walls's request. Like, don't get me wrong, it would benefit me to have Minneapolis get rebuilt because that's where my job is, and my job depends on A, the safety of our community, B, our community not being up. But at this point, I don't fucking care. I'll go work in the suburbs. Like good on Trump because Minneapolis and Frey, the city council and Walls had every chance. They had the National Guard here on Friday night. They were ready to go, and they didn't bring them out till 2. They waited for the police precinct to burn down. A fucking police precinct burned down. Government property, I do not actually give a shit. What I give a shit about is you let a mob take down a government building to the ground. You, as the government, and what we pay our taxes for, and historically, and you should, if you're going to overuse and abuse your power, is stop stuff like that from happening. I'm not advocating for the abuse of power by any means, but if you're gonna do it, that's the fucking reason right there. You lost. At that point, you lost the control of anything, and you had the National Guard ready to go. And I think they brought them out with non-engagement first at like 1-2 a.m. after the precinct burned down. But look at what happened Saturday. Like, I can tell you from being downtown, it was like once they gave you guys can engage, it was a whole different story because now people are going to start shot back. And yeah, they're over bullets, but you still don't want to get hit by one.
No, you don't. It's again, people are going back to the who shot first narrative, right? And it's the same thing with the fucking Revolutionary War or any other kind of conflict. One side will claim the other side shot first. That's unimportant. That's unimportant to me, at the very least. What's important is looking at the aftermath. Unless there's clear-cut proof that I can see that one side started over the other, I can't be fucking bothered. I can't be bothered with it. And so far, that proof, that supposed proof that's out there in all of these protests, doesn't exist. So I cannot base an opinion off of either side screaming that the other started it. What I can base it off of is what I'm witnessing. And what I'm witnessing is the government choosing not to utilize this mandate that they have, this monopoly on violence, to protect the interests of their citizens from a mob of its own citizens who have basically are going about looting different private interests. People will fucking people have said
We're supposed
to
to
me,
keep the peace.
yeah, people have said to me, oh, so you're complaining about the looting of private property. Well, that's kind of what the American
They have
revolutionaries
insurance.
did. No, it didn't. No, they didn't, you dumb motherfucker. Look up the fucking East India Company. Tell me how private they were. You have this ability, you have this responsibility as well to utilize the very mandate that's been invested into you to protect the interests of your citizens, and they choose not to do it. Meanwhile, on the other side of this conflict, you have individuals who started with as a fucking protest about an innocent man or a man needlessly being killed by police officers, and it somehow delves so far out of control that you have politicians who are going on national news saying that, oh, these rioters, they're just been so impoverished for so long that we can't really blame them for
It's not
destroying
their fault.
for their actions that destroy other people's lives. And fucking how does 2/5 of the country go along with this?
I don't know. That's
I don't
what's
get it either.
troubling me.
They parrot it. They parrot it like a parrot, or they follow it around like a fucking lemming.
Yeah.
And then it somehow morphs into, getting rid of food mascots too. I mean, what does Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, Cream of Wheat, have to do with George
real.
Floyd?
For real. Aunt Jemima. My God.
That's
give them
another.
The Redskins, all of it. Yeah, it's just
The
it's
Redskins
madness.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one I understand more than anything else. I'm not saying I agree
But
with
why?
it or anything, because there's so many other precedents. I mean, I lived in an area that was, with a really big native population. I've talked to people about it, and a lot of people actually, have kind of told me like that's the equivalent to us as the N-word. Not everyone's going to agree with it. Some people are proud of it, I'm sure, but
Was
like,
it true that some tribe came up with the design and everything?
I think it was
Yeah, it seems that way.
the Blackfoot tribe, wasn't it?
That's what I heard.
Nation, yeah.
I mean, I'm
I just
not
want
saying
some
that
team
they're
to be-
100% correct. I'm saying I just understand that more than renaming the Braves or the Indians or the Fighting Irish. That one's pretty.
That one's stupid.
But if it comes
agree on
from their heritage, like those people named it, and then you're coming up with something wrong with it. Even like I can see how maybe some of them feel that way, just because they probably don't even understand the history of it themselves.
I mean, that could be it.
I just don't get how a name of something offends you so much, especially just like
Me either.
Redskins. It's not. I don't find it that offensive, but I guess whatever.
If you have the Seattle Chinks, you don't think people would be happy about that either. But like, it's a draw. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just saying I understand that one in a syrup bottle.
Yeah.
Gary, what does a flaw in armor have to do with any of this?
I'm just trying to not think so one-sided, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
I think for credibility, you do.
So we
need
have to
look
give
at
up some
those
of
guys.
our things, so we can finally end the madness, right?
I'm
just give
saying
them a
that you
little
want
bit.
Isn't that what this whole thing is about?
That's what I thought.
Elect Biden, the riots will stop. Isn't that what's being framed as?
Yes.
Oh, you want to talk about
Yes.
threats? Let's talk about the
Yeah.
California Teacher Union.
Yeah. CJ, Breon,
Their
have you
demands.
fucking heard about this shit?
No, let me know.
No.
I think I posted
God.
it, but let me go grab it really quickly.
I'll pull it up
it's so
too.
good. It's so good. Being touted all over left Twitter, by the way.
Well, once you're talking teachers union and you're talking California, like my imagination is already running.
All right, you ready for this? So for again, backdrop right now. There is a mass debate in the United States about whether or not schools are to be reopened in the fall. And the positions have flipped in such a manner where now the liberals want the public schools closed, and the conservatives want the public schools opened, which just boggles my mind. But if we're just going to focus on one particular area, Los Angeles Teachers Union, which must be a greater part of a California teachers union. I don't know how these things are structured out in California, but this is Los Angeles. They said they will reopen schools under the following conditions. 1, defund the police. 2,
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
2, moratorium on charter schools. 3, pass Medicare for all. 4, pass a wealth tax. And 5, a federal school bailout.
Yeah, you don't get to make these commands when you're a teacher and you're making 40 grand.
Hold on.
$250 million.
Breon, please tell me what the fuck you make of the Los Angeles Teachers Union's varying demands.
Well, first of all, like, to me, one of the few silver linings of the shutdown is that it's basically forced everyone to homeschool their kids.
Right.
Which is a good thing because anything to keep public school teachers away from our children, to me, is a win. So
I agree.
They only sexually abuse kids at a higher rate than the Catholic Church does. But go on, continue.
Holy fuck, seriously.
oh yeah, that. Plus, nowadays they teach like, well, they basically teach the new gender ideology where they say like, boys can really be women and women can, that stuff.
Yeah, boys are girls and girls are boys.
Yeah.
Except when they're not,
Yeah.
They teach that out of children's books. So yeah, anything to keep the teachers away from our kids is probably a victory.
Well, yeah, because there was
I
some
agree.
teacher that came out saying that she doesn't follow the curriculum. She just teaches what she wants to teach, her own ideology.
Yep.
I mean, that's probably not much better than the curriculum.
It depends. I mean, we came through that curriculum, and here we are.
Depends on the state, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot, though. To be completely honest, like just the crap I'm hearing, like to me, it sounds like I kind of hear like, oh, they're brainwashing our kids. I'm like, okay, yeah, like that's one view. But then like
That's
just hearing
true.
some of the crap that it is, but just hearing some of the how bad it actually is, like I think it's changed a lot since when we were in school.
It's probably worse because I can remember the
Yeah.
brainwashing. I almost went down
Much
that
worse.
path. Then I realized, basic economics, basically.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're all old enough that we all had the experience of saying the Pledge of Allegiance when we were school kids.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I went to
whether
do youth service in 3rd grade at Pinewood, and we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day. And I'm like, fuck yeah, like I'm gonna do this every like. That was about the only reason I showed up was to say the Pledge of Allegiance. We didn't do it in high school.
yeah,
See, I felt the opposite. I felt like a drone.
Yeah, for better or for worse, like patriotism used to be a part of what was taught.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's
I'm
not
saying-
anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
'Cause
This
that's
country's
bad.
so fucking soft. Like, this country was built on selfish, greedy assholes who only care about themselves. And yeah, if it helps them or makes them look good to do something towards society, they'll do it.
So every
But-
country.
No, but if it impacts them, like I said in the group chat earlier, like smoking in bars. Do you know how hard that was to get out of Minnesota?
Oh, that was a massive fight for years. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I was actually on the subcommittee. I was a subcommittee board member of the Tobacco Free Bemidji State University for my internship. Even though I had a cigarette on the way to my internship and generally had a dip in my lip for most of my internship, well, I was telling people not to do that.
Uh-huh.
Like
Perfect.
the fights that we went through there for people not to
America.
use not to smoke on campus. It's like ridiculous because people want all this shit until it impacts their lives and they have to change something about themselves.
Sure.
And then they're like, that's the people I fucking want running this country again, are these greedy assholes. That's what we were built on. That's what made us the greatest country in the world. And that's what's going to keep us there. But we're way too fucking soft.
So one final thing on the teachers union's demands.
All right.
Does anyone notice, strangely enough, how there's no kind of comment in regards to the very thing that shut down the schools in the first place?
Coronavirus?
Mhm.
Doesn't it seem very
Yeah.
odd that they're not asking for higher testing requirements or
The vaccine
different
needs to happen
yeah,
or something.
a vaccine needs to happen, or
Yeah.
we need to have particular infrastructure in place to try to prevent students from being spreaders to one another. You
a very
notice
good
how
point.
there isn't really anything about the inciting incident that led to the shutdown, not only of the public schools, also nearly half of the fucking biggest economy in the world. No mention of that from these fucking enlightened educators.
None
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Well, it's a
look
deadly
at
virus, but it's not on our demand list. Yes.
Well,
No.
look at the flip in the listen to science argument with masks. Liberals always listen to science, but top pediatricians from around the country, not just one or two, but top pediatricians have come out and said it's okay to go back to school for kids. Like even
Oh,
if they
yeah.
contract it, like, just be smart about it. Like during the school year, don't visit grandma and grandpa. Like, you know.
Well,
with
Gary,
the-
Gary, very obviously, those people have comprocron on them, or whatever the fucking phrase is. They're just been compromised into,
Oh.
taking a position which they wouldn't normally take, because obviously every single right-minded science person would be on the side of whatever agenda the left. I mean the truth. They'd be on the side of the
Yes.
truth. Yeah.
Because the truth comes
Yeah.
from the media, not actual studies.
Oh, don't get me started.
No.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for that fucking study about melanin to finally come out. That'll be great.
Here's the thing, it's like 97% of scientists believe in climate change. Like, I'm not talking climate change. I'm just saying the point that 97%. One of the greatest memes I've ever seen is 97% of scientists believe in whoever pays them the most to say what they're going to say.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the truth about
Yeah.
it.
Because
And it's language
because-
too. Just the
because
language.
just like the priests of old, the scientists of today are basically, what are they? They're human. Yeah. Or they're just
Yeah.
humans. And they're
Yeah, they're
just
gonna benefit them.
they're just as corruptible as any of the
Anyone
other
else.
positions
Mm-hmm.
of bygone ages.
They're not perfect beings, yeah.
Look at how many look at Fauci. Fauci's legitimately one of the top infectious disease professionals in the world. Like, I don't like the guy. I disagree with everything he's saying. Like, but like pure facts. Before all this, he was one of the top infectious disease people in the world, and he's
Yep.
corrupted, and he's saying
He
stuff.
is.
So, like,
Yeah. He
That's-
keeps changing his story.
And he's even admitted that he had to lie. He said he lied to make sure that there was enough masks for the medical professionals. So that's why he initially said you don't need masks, because
Another
he didn't want
medical
everybody
professionals.
buying them up.
Or
Yep.
like the fucking government that wanted to hoard all of them.
Yeah, or those
That's
guys.
another thing that, again, do we want to talk about the fucking origins of this whole madness breaking out? Because I was crazy man on the hill shouting about this shit 2 months before everything went to fucking high hell. Because again, I reiterate, you can't trust the CDC because they fucking went so soft after such a hard response against the WHO, who you especially can't trust
Mhm.
because of
They're in
their-
China's back pocket.
Of course they're in China's fucking pocket. Of course they are. When their
Mhm.
fucking representative was talking to a journalist and she mentioned Taiwan, he pretended like he didn't hear her twice. He said the
I
fucking feed
remember
was
that.
out.
Yeah.
Not to mention, all along the way, they said this wasn't a big problem until the CDC contradicted them before a press conference. And they said, yeah, this might be a pandemic level thing. Oh, masks aren't effective. Give it about, 10 days. We'll come out with a second reassessment. Oh, wait, masks are effective. Sorry, we just had to get all of our stockpiles up here. Sorry, we didn't lie to you, though. We just have new data. New fucking
Isn't that
data?
convenient?
What do you mean new fucking data? We knew the moment I saw people being welded into fucking buildings in Wuhan and across China, I knew something was afoot.
Yep.
I fucking knew something was afoot. So you immediately fucking lie to us then about how impactful this thing might be, and now you're lying to us now in the same, only it's to an inverse now, because now for whatever reason you see it necessary to find ways of inflating the numbers. Why are you inflating the numbers? I'm one of the people who wants this shit to be taken seriously, but I recognize that people aren't going to fucking take this seriously when you're so fucking inconsistent in terms of telling people the severity of a virus or not.
Like, how dumb do they think we are, too? At the end?
Very dumb. They think you're stupid. They want you dead.
Mhm.
Remember, they always want you dead. They think you're
Look
very
at how
dumb.
many people buy this shit. So obviously we are pretty
Yeah.
stupid.
Hey, put on the mask. Oh, it could only just be a minor inconvenience. That's not what we're fucking debating, you jackasses. We're
Right.
debating the merits of whether or not a government has any kind of standing to mandate you to wear something.
Yeah. What is this? The
Yeah.
Middle East?
Slippery slope argument, motherfuckers.
Yeah. I don't think they would have the
Thank you.
authority.
No.
I mean,
No.
last
They-
I checked, at least in the
Federal government
USA, yeah, I mean, leave it up to the individual states and let them settle it, like however they want to handle each.
Fuck the
'Cause-
states. They don't have a right to do this either.
No,
Well,
they
Well,
don't.
not mandate masks,
they-
but just whatever they want to do handling the coronavirus situation. Like, should the federal government be this involved with all of it?
No, and that Trump tried to stay out of it and say 10th Amendment or say, you
Yeah.
states, you fucking run it. And now he's being criticized. Donald Trump.
Because he didn't do
Harris,
anything.
Stewart, so-
It's just more
Uh,
call to power. They want the executive branch to just become bigger, like it did under Obama.
117,000 people, 117,000 bodies at Trump's feet. I'm sorry, did Trump make the specific policies that
Yeah.
forced sick elderly people to be reaccepted back in their nursing
Yeah.
homes when it was seen that they had coronavirus? No.
So
no,
many
I
people
believe
don't even
was
know that.
I believe that was Governor Cuomo of New York that fucking mandated that. Oh, did
Other
he
states
have
as well.
all of
Yeah.
those particular restaurants reopen in Florida? No, I believe that was their state government's decision to allow for that. So
Yep.
even on both extremes of the political aisle in terms of our ruling class, you still somehow are going to throw all the bodies of those decisions made at the foot of the head executive who's not allowed and isn't even trying to participate in creating grandiose and far-reaching policy across the nation. You're still going to try to throw it at his feet? That
Yep.
reads to me as nothing more than snarky and cynical political opportunism, which just
Yeah.
seems to be a fucking calling card of today's politics, and especially of one particular side of today's politics.
We can't waste a good crisis.
I would
Never let a
ask you,
crisis
what do
go
you
to waste.
Yeah.
I would ask, what do you think Obama would have done? But then I think back to H1N1, which was a seriously deadly disease. Like,
Yep.
so you can't even ask what would Obama have done differently because he had time to prove it, and a lot of people died because of that too.
Yeah.
Didn't get hyped though.
No,
because you can't criticize
it
Obama
didn't.
because he's racist.
No, the media has just said everything was well done. Great job.
We
Great
didn't even
job,
talk about
yeah.
it. You didn't get a good job. They didn't even bring it up. Oh, more H1N1. Instead of blaming the fucking government, they did. They held people accountable, and that's how it should be. That's the whole argument I make with masks. Where if you want to wear a mask in public, good for you. Do it.
Yeah,
I'm not
go
gonna
for it.
I'm not going to sit and yell at you about how they don't work. I'm not going to come up to you and do that and let you live your life. If you don't wear one, good for you. I'm not going to come up and yell at you. Where's your fucking mask? Wear your goddamn mask. No.
Yep.
If you want to wear a mask, you more than right to do so. I don't care. Good for you. If you believe that works, do it. If you don't, same distance. But here's the thing: regardless if you're wearing a mask or not, if this is a actual global pandemic and this is something to be concerned about, because I mean, I want to go see my grandma and stuff like that. Stay away from me. Stay 6 feet away from me. People with masks think they're immune because they put their mask on and they go up and they're touching everything and they're rubbing everything. Like when I go to the grocery store, I watch what people do because they pick up an apple and they put it back
So do
down.
I.
Like, I'm not going to get that fucking. I'm not going to touch the apples today.
Yeah, when I see Walls and he just kind of has it all in his hands, he sticks it in his pocket, takes it back out, touches the podium, touches his mask, puts it in his pocket. I'm just like, what is the point? You're literally strapping bacteria to your face at that point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or even
And
like
he doesn't wear a mask.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
He doesn't wear a mask when he goes for a photo op in Henderson at a Prince Memorial.
Yeah, he's just arm in arm with people, basically, like shoulder to shoulder, no masks, no social distancing. It's like, well, but yeah, we have to have this photo op. We got to keep making things look good.
Yeah.
Just
or like even when I go out to eat or
Oh
like
my
go out
God.
to get fast food. I went to Raising Cane's last night for dinner, and the people there in the drive-thru, they are wearing plastic gloves, which seems good, but they touch every single credit card with those gloves, and I don't know if they're hand sanitizing. I don't know what the deal is. Like, think of how disgusting it is because you're giving more of a barrier for germs to stick to than just your skin.
Yeah, they actually will thrive in plastic.
Yeah. So what's the point of wearing the gloves if you're just going to touch the next person's credit card? Now I got to take my card, put that back in the wallet, and now it has already more germs on it.
Yeah, I think we need to run everybody through food safety so they can learn the basics of how to handle these sorts of things, because it covers all of that, just how easy it is for it to spread, washing your hands, like all of those basic things help stop the spread, rather than everybody just wear a mask and everybody wear gloves. Like it's not scientific for one, and it's just flat out fucking wrong. I don't know why it's the mainstream narrative, because you could prove it wrong time and time again.
Make sure it's mandatory for your job.
When I was at McDonald's, I washed my hands all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't wear gloves. I didn't wear a mask or anything like that.
I wash my hands so many times a day, like especially when I was working at Papa John's, they would just turn raw, which is probably worse for my hands in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just that sort of a thing is going to stop the spread more than anything else. Because like you guys are saying, you're wearing gloves and you're just touching everything. What's the difference?
Yeah.
You're not stopping the spread. Yeah, I mean, it still sits on the gloves, and then you touch everything else. You're just continuing the spread, not stopping it. When you go to Walmart,
fucking gloves? Are you gonna wash your gloves?
You have to replace your gloves every single time that you interact with something. That's what the requirement is.
And the glove companies would love that shit.
Absolutely.
They'd make a fucking killing, just like the mask companies are. And I can't blame them for taking advantage of the situation. Lord knows if I had the capital, I'd be doing the fucking same.
Yeah.
But all the same, every piece of data that continues to come out has some sort of caveat, right? We've moved from death rate and number of deaths into infection rate, because of course infection rate might precipitate into the death rate and increase it a bit more. What is the testing rate? Where are we at now? Is it greater? Obviously it's greater testing, but if we're still not testing nearly enough people, if there's still different inconsistencies with testing results where it comes back as positive, but that might just be the antibodies. So how are we supposed to know? There's still reports that the antibodies disappear after a couple of days of, fucking being there. So that's something to be concerned about. The heart damage, lung damage that's being reported, neurological issues that might be there. I mean, again, everybody is trying to play politics with this fucking thing, and there's only evidence out that would be able to support a particular side's political narrative. It's not truth seeking. It's the same problem I have with people who try to fucking tout history, like the 1619 Project or the Lincoln Foundation, whatever the fuck it is, that just want to tout something out that enforces their political narrative upon the populace. And it's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's going to lead us down a path that is going to do more damage to us than what has already been done.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Mitch?
He has to cover somebody's shift, he said, so
Dead,
he's
dead
not
again,
here.
man.
Yeah.
He got run off the book once more, so.
He's been canceled so many times. I think maybe that's what happened.
He cancels himself.
Gotta disappear. Can't have those hoes tracking him.
Yep.
I mean, reputable women.
Look at this. So here's a graph right here. As far as daily tests, so it's the lighter shade is your daily test, and then your positive test is the darker shade across the bottom.
Yeah.
So you can just see how even as testing increases greatly, your positive test doesn't increase that much.
Wow.
And the testing's insane. So yeah, we're up to over 700,000 a day that we're testing. So of course your cases is going to go up because you're taking such a it's not even in the span of a month it jumped, it like doubled the amount of tests. So the rate of testing has gone up significantly. Well, and they're also just testing for coronavirus, from my understanding. And the common flu is a coronavirus. So how do we know if it's actually COVID-19? Because they don't test for the specific strain, as far as my understanding is. Because all these different companies produce different tests that look for a slightly different thing. They're not every single test is looking for COVID-19. Is that correct? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Has anybody else heard that? I don't know. So one of Mitch's buddies was talking about
I
it.
can't say. I don't. How many of us do actually know? You know?
Well,
How many
don't-
of us do?
Yeah, I definitely don't know because I don't read. So
Because you're
Push
illiterate.
up, push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of juice, eh, Brian?
Yeah, and someday you'll embrace the dad bod and like the rest of us. It'll be cute that you.
As long as this rest of us bullshit. I'm trying to get away from that.
yeah.
You better
I'm
get a
actually
dad
on
bod
fast
if you
right
want to.
now.
What?
What?
What did you say?
Oh, you said something about the man bod or the
No,
dad bod?
Yeah, you need to
The
embrace
dad bod.
Embrace it,
I'm-
brother.
No, I can't embrace it.
Why work out when you can work in? Skip that workout, bro.
Just need to relax, drink beer every day.
Yep. Richter,
I feel
you
like
can't do
a
that. 'cause-
powerful male physique is like the only weapon we have at this point. You need to make yourself excellent.
More squats, Gary.
Yeah, I ain't going to the gym, guys. I hate to break it to
You can do them at home. Just do them in quantity.
you. Yeah, I'm busy.
Of course you are. Walk your dog. How about that?
I'd rather play golf with her where she brings the ball back to me every time.
Walk,
you
walks
go.
Go
herself.
for walks.
Yeah, walks herself. Jesus.
I'm good. I
Or
got
go
a
on an exercise bike, which is what I do.
I got a Fitbit. Does that count?
That's
No.
all you need right there.
Only having it doesn't fucking count.
Well, I check my heart rate every now and then.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
It's not
Mhm.
cast upon me to repopulate or to, get more redheads in the world like you, John. So
oh, so because of my particular, how do you say, coloring, yeah, I have to work fucking harder.
Yeah.
I either eliminate the race or do your part to make more.
Well,
There's no in between.
Well, Hollywood's trying to erase redheads.
I've already made this fucking joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that one today, boy.
Last time I think me, Gary, and Ryan were on, I made a particular observation about Hollywood casting types that seemed to be dyslexic, but people can look at the previous one to be able to garner that viewpoint.
I was the one
Yeah.
making sure you two didn't kill the black woman. So, chill.
Candace Owens lived. Candace Owens lived in my particular
Yeah, 'cause you're not a racist.
scenario.
Never mind.
Yeah, sure.
She-
I don't know. It's all fucking crazy to me, honestly.
Yeah.
We've gone so fucking far downhill since 45, which again, the old line, victory is your own defeat, might actually be true. 45, and then all Soviet Union was 92, if I remember right.
91.
91?
91.
Okay.
Yeah.
91. So I wasn't alive for that. Shit. But, you have these sorts of things, and America now believes it's just unbeatable. You have American exceptionalism coming from both particular angles of the aisle. They're just on extreme opposites, which kind of enforce horseshoe theory's legitimacy a bit more. You have the average American either borderline obese or are obese. Definitely not in the prime physical condition that they should be. And that's it's even being promoted too, that you don't have to even try to be in some kind of physical conditioning. How many people
Yeah, they
go
put
ahead,
fat
Gary.
chicks on the covers of magazines now. What the hell is up with that?
Yeah.
Lizzo's hot, guys.
Sports Illustrated.
Calvin Klein models.
Yeah.
The greatest part about it is Adele, right?
Yeah.
One of their own, so to speak, and I use air quotations around one of their own.
She lost a bunch of weight.
She lost a bunch of weight, and she got fucking ripped as if she was a traitor as if she was a traitor to the Soviet Union.
I know, I saw that.
Ready to put her up on a tribunal. Miss Adele, please step on the scale. And like a fucking kangaroo court and shit. Daria declared her guilty. For what? For the great crime of
losing weight.
Yeah, of choosing to believe that she wasn't in the best of shape and making a decision to lose that weight. That was her great crime to the Twitter sphere. Oh, Jesus.
No.
And you just see how ravenous these particular individuals who condemned her came out. Because, again, they have, I don't know if it's no sense of self, but certainly not a individualism that you would hope to see, and they see themselves in others. I don't know if it's projection per se, but it's certainly I need to validate my decisions and to that extent how I look in other more famous people. Maybe that's where we've come. Maybe that's the whole fucking root of all this, is a lack of individualism has made people look at either celebrities of all different walks and just so ravenously follow them. And if the celebrity steps out of line in any particular fashion, all of a sudden now their identity comes under attack, and they have to slam that celebrity and then project themselves into a different person. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like, eating it without consequence. So.
Yeah, well, there is that. I have to remember there is also that. That food is fucking delicious.
Oh, yeah.
All in moderation. I think.
Jesus. You think?
Yeah, moderation works.
You must be disciplined.
I try to do the 16-hour fast. I just have the 8-hour window where I can eat, and then don't eat outside of that 8-hour window.
Ryan, weren't you on like a 16-week all pizza diet?
No, that was a lifetime all pizza diet.
Okay.
While I was working at Papa John's, and that's how I. Well, I would only get certain amount of time where I could eat. So I'd literally eat like one big meal, and then I wouldn't eat for a long fucking time because I work like 16-hour shifts, let's say. So that was just the way it was. I couldn't do anything else besides that. But now I don't work there anymore, and I actually put on a lot of weight because I just ate all the fucking time because I had time. So I had to put myself back on that diet.
I ate that stuff when I was at McDonald's. I ate that stuff for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
Gained quite a bit of weight, and I lost some when I quit.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's all about that routine.
I did have Papa John's the other night, and those garlic breadsticks, ooh, so good.
Oh yeah, dude, it's bomb.
Mhm.
I miss working there, but it's just such a fucked up company now that I can't do it.
I heard you. Go ahead.
I think you can eat pretty healthy and eat delicious food if you like meat and cheese like I do, and that's just what you eat a lot of,
Mhm.
and then like some vegetables. It's not too bad as far as taste wise.
Oh fuck no.
I mean, I have a garden that we grow a bunch of vegetables and stuff. Then we got sweet corn this year, tons of green beans, peppers, beets.
Yeah,
I
but do
plenty
you
of
eat them?
vegetables.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we once that stuff starts coming in, you have to start eating it or it goes bad, and you can only freeze so
Right.
many things.
Yeah.
I share at work. I brought a lot of my housekeeping staff is from Ecuador in Mexico, so I would bring like gallons of Ziploc bags of jalapenos in, and they would just eat them for lunch. But I have a bunch of jalapenos frozen in my freezer right now, and I use them all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's fun to grow it, and it's fun just to enjoy what you did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like making stuff from home now. I really don't go out at all. So, fuck, I can't
So
remember the
where
last
can you
time I
go?
go out. Yeah, I've gone out. It's just make food at home. It's very rewarding. I agree. But yeah, I looked at those testing kits, and it just looks like there's a shit ton of companies, and they say either COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2.
Which is the strand of COVID-19.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
hard to say, what's what. Especially when Florida says, all these labs are having 100% positivity rates. Like, how does that happen?
That's almost
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Then there was that guy who died in a motorcycle accident, but they counted it as a COVID-19 death.
Right.
I think I read something that debunked that. I'd have to go back and take a look, but I think that there's a follow-up story that said that the medical officials said he had it, but still didn't attribute the death. All the same, though, can you trust them?
No.
Can you trust them?
No.
Not
Who
one bit.
can you trust right now? As the world fucking burns down, as a pandemic rips through, as the extremists on both sides of the political spectrum act accordingly to what their belief systems are going to lead them to, as fucking protesters in the streets are ripping shit down. Meanwhile, government officials are charging other people for similar activities of defacing murals, but not charging a different group
Right.
for defacing. As all this shit happens, that the fundamental question is asked: who can you trust? Who in the mechanisms of power, whether that's political power, whether that's in the scientific fields, it doesn't matter what particular field it is. It's just who can you really invest any kind of belief into? And
Yep.
that number shrinks by the day as credibility just completely flies away. That's a problem. It's a problem because there has to be some sort of projection of, not authority per se. I'm trying to find the right word for it. A projection of faith or acting in good faith, I suppose, that has to come from these particular groups that seem to try to tell you and inform you. But all of a sudden, and it starts. It doesn't start with the media. The media is one facet of it. I'm not entirely sure where it would start. But, when you have all these groups, whether it's media, whether it's the scientific community, whether it's politicians, economic leaders, etc. It's just, how can you trust any of them after you've seen the last fucking 20 years?
Well, do we trust Kanye West? I think that's the real question here, because he's running, isn't he?
I'd sooner. No, I think he said he dipped out, but I'd sooner
Really?
throw Kanye in there than Trump or Biden, just because the whole foundational point of American leadership is by meritocracy, right? It's supposed to be meritocratic. Who has had more success in their particular field than Kanye West has in the field of, not only making music as an entertainer, but also as a businessman managing all of his different financial assets?
Yeah.
And big booty hoes.
Yeah, making sure his ass is covered. It's who's had it better? Who's done it better? You can't name anybody who's done it. Oh, better, or if so, that's a very small list. He's right up there in his field.
Yeah.
So why the fuck not? Now, presidency, I'd rather see him in the fucking House first. I think it'd be a lot more funny to see Kanye on a political committee for international relations than being the president. But the president could be equally as funny, and why not? This is the new age of that Trump's election has ushered in. Not that Trump has ushered in, but Trump's election. So if you're gonna see it, why not be now? But of obviously fucking everybody in the establishment or anybody who aligns himself under establishment politics will completely brush this aside. Oh, he's not qualified. Oh, he hasn't done anything in the political sphere. I would take Kanye West over any of these political careerists.
He is
Over
running.
Anjo?
He filed with the FEC as of July 16th.
Okay,
Fantastic.
Who
So
would you rather have,
Oh.
Kanye West or Joe Ferguson?
Kanye.
Okay, am I the only one who doesn't just see like a Midwestern Barbie doll like Hillary Clinton with Aunt Joe?
I wouldn't call her a
Uncle
Barbie.
Joe.
Aunt-
Anjo. I don't know, man. The Libertarian Party has just kind of lost me, so
Mhm.
I don't know what to think about her. But
Hey,
Yeah.
next they'll tout out that pseudoscience about melanin that we heard from Nick Cannon.
Oh yeah.
It's not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. Just
Mhm.
the utter gall of riding some fucking Marxist wave on the zeitgeist to try and garner some political
get some
clout
votes. Yeah.
is utterly
Good votes, yeah.
is utterly despicable. Don't make coalitions with people who want to see you dead.
I'll do what I want as an American.
Do what you want. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'll do what I want. It's my right to do so.
Yeah.
Then fine, do it, but don't complain once after they're done accomplishing their goals that the gun comes out and you're stuck in a kangaroo court.
Yeah.
Oh, I got plenty of ammo, John.
Okay. Believe me now. Listen to me now. Believe me later on. Okay.
You said the same thing about Corona. It's dying in the streets.
Okay, that's fine. I'm still in the field that says this is a big fucking deal, and that we've been doing a lot better than say China or India, despite everybody saying how fucking bad we've been doing. I don't think that we've done nearly enough per se, but don't discount 115,000 people dying. That's not just a fucking bad flu year. We're on pace for 240 or 250,000 people. Even if they are the fucking elderly, there's still some people in there who aren't. And that's something that has to be paid attention to. And the ramifications of catching this disease still aren't known when we have reports about fucking heart disease and lung damage and neurological issues coming out from people who have been affected by this. So, hey, you want to fucking say that I might have been wrong on this shit? That's fine. But not nearly soon enough. I would give myself a couple more months to be able to say, okay, well, here's that. I'm more than willing to say I might be wrong on it. I've been saying that from the get-go, but I'm not going to disbelieve what I saw my eyes see. I'm not going to disbelieve it.
Yeah.
You don't give enough credit to Western medicine.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like, John,
What's up?
like that stuff you were saying before about wait, what were you saying again? You said something like Nick Cannon like doesn't like white people or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
Nick Cannon doesn't like. Nick Cannon apparently doesn't like Jewish people. That's why he got Viacom to drop him. Granted, he
Yeah,
apologized. He also seemingly, forgotten by most of the media, made some pretty how do I say, Nazi-esque claims about a particular group of people based off of some pseudoscience bullshit about melanin. But he didn't have to apologize for that. He apologized
No.
He apologized
Exactly.
for
Why is there so
anti-Semitic
much
remarks,
fear,
which
specifically in the black?
my observation is, if he's being forced to apologize for anti-Semitic remarks, but doesn't say anything about what is very clearly racist remarks against white people, doesn't that kind of prove him right in one fashion or another about some of the points he made? I'm just wondering. Again, Israel's my friend. I love Israel, but for him to be forced to apologize for one particular thing that he said, but not apologize for all of it, and then to see the reactions on Twitter, it just seems like maybe it's not the case. Maybe it's just my smooth non-melanin head talking, but it seems like maybe there's some kind of point that's being either intentionally or unintentionally made here. I don't know.
Well, I do think that they're inciting a lot of race hatred right now, and it's especially
Community.
Mhm.
you can see it in the issue with all the monuments they're tearing down,
question, which
because
I want to get to.
we know
but
that through history,
Why is it such a problem?
tearing down monuments is something where when there's a regime change, the new regime tears down the old regime's monuments to demoralize them.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
basically a way of flexing on your enemies. So what does it tell you about the people destroying American monuments? And by the way, a lot of them are not even like Confederate soldiers
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just traditional American monuments.
Yeah, it started as the not even tearing them down, even questioning their legitimacy, like Mount Rushmore.
Mhm.
But they'll tout the Statue of Liberty until that whore becomes useless to them. It's just so
Jesus.
fucking ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
it's telling in a sense that the right is not really doing anything. They're not organizing at the same level as a bunch of these groups that are tearing down the monuments, which, by the way, all
Which is
seemingly come
crazy.
out in black clad, all seemingly come out at the same time.
Yep.
But we're
It's heavily
supposed to believe-
organized.
Yeah.
We're supposed
heavily
to believe they're not
organized.
organized.
Who says that?
It's not a grassroots campaign.
Well,
Really? Is that
Antifa
what people say?
Well, Antifa wasn't real until they were real. Until Trump said they were
Mhm.
real, and then people said, well, yeah, okay, they're real, but they're not really doing anything. They're just peaceful.
They've been around for
never
a long
mind.
time.
Never mind, we've seen this shit since 2016 onward.
Yeah.
Anybody who's kept their eyes open,
Even
been
before
paying
that.
attention, who isn't a normie, understands what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who has any sense of history has seen what the Bolsheviks have done, what Maoist China did at the beginning of their regimes as they were instituting it. And it's, the story. It's frustrating that you already know the story and you're actively trying to spoiler people. It's the no spoilers crowd again. It's,
Don't tell us how this plays out.
I'm trying to spoil this for you because it's a bad fucking movie. It's like me trying to spoil The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker to some people because I know it's shit. I want to save them $20. In this case, I'm trying to spoil you from suffering for 75 years under a communist regime.
Yep. Well,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot that's coming ahead. I mean, even with the economic bubble that we're in, Trump's just prolonging it. It's
print money. Just print money.
We're fucked.
Apparently, fucking the left solution is print money, and wouldn't you know it, the fucking right is going right along with it.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I think we need to move back to our homelands. Let's go back across the sea and.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, the right
I'll go back to Norway.
Yep.
a long time.
No, they'll
Are we
they'll
sending
fucking
the
hate
white
us like
people
they
to Europe?
I think so.
weird.
We should just give
No,
up
no.
our country and go back.
They'll hate us
Can
like
have
the
it back.
Africans hated the Liberians when they founded their country. A lot of Africa was pretty pissed off when former American slaves all went back to Liberia, conveniently enough, don't tell anybody, they also enslaved native Africans alongside the west coast of Africa, along the
Hey.
gold ivory coast of
Yeah.
Liberia. But
Tim Kaine,
don't tell anyone.
Tim Kaine said that slavery started in America. So
That's
you a
right.
liar?
I'm calling a lot of people liars today.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And by the way,
Yeah.
just double back on
Forget
Nick
about
Cannon.
Egypt.
If we're such smooth-brained motherfuckers who, couldn't figure out basic sanitation, had 2/3 of our population, I say in quotations, because obviously none of us are responsible for the individual actions of a particular group. But if Nick Cannon wants to put us on teams, I'll play along. I'll play along hypothetically. If
Yeah.
our people somehow survive bubonic plague-ridden Europe with 2/3 of their population dying, and still
Yeah.
somehow managed to kick the shit out of the other of 80% of the world and subjugate it to our will, what the fuck does that say about you that your people lost to such unbridled and evil savages?
They're all simps.
Which by the way, from a historical context, you didn't even lose to us. You lost to other ethnic tribes in Africa who defeated your people,
And sold you
subjugated
off.
them, and and sold them off for
Yeah.
what was we might get banned for this one, but fuck it. For what was deemed as
For
for
history.
what was deemed as fair market value. And it's only because
God.
of the
That's terrible.
British fucking fleet and the bleeding hearts of the United Kingdom of Great Britain that the slave trade, or at least the transatlantic one, was fucking ended. You got grievances? Take them up with the fucking Ottomans. You got grievances about
Yeah.
us having to strike out for new lands? That's who you take it up with, is the Ottomans. You have grievances about the Black Death forcing our collective philosophy and mindset to change? Take that up with the fucking Mongols.
Mhm.
I will not apologize for how the way the world worked, but it's only because of the sentimentality of one particular group which was kicking the shit out of a vast majority of the rest of the world, because those were the times that we lived in. That is because of their sentimentality and their Christian upbringing that the whole of this suffering was put an end to. I don't even want your welcome. I don't give a shit about your welcome.
I do.
Whatever.
Same with
Then
these
you
fucking-
asked.
Same with
You
these
asked
fucking
for
French
it.
people. These French people and these British people, when they want to criticize fat lazy Americans, if it wasn't for us, your ass would be speaking German. So where's the fucking respect and thank you?
Thank you, it'd be
pretty soon they'll
nice.
all be speaking
Yeah.
Arabic.
You know, people keep saying that Trump's going to
Yeah.
start World War
We
III.
saved them twice.
Here's the thing. People
Yeah.
keep saying Trump's going to start World War III. Fucking bring it on. We're 2-0 in them bitches. Like, let's fucking go. I do not care.
Yeah, but the last two times we didn't have the wide-scale capacity to eviscerate the entirety of the human race.
Yeah.
So,
Our bun's bigger, John. Just remember that. Our bun is bigger.
hey, I know which way my bread's buttered, motherfucker. You don't have to tell me.
There's like 12 countries out there that could turn the world into a fucking parking lot in 30
Which
seconds.
12? Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Which
Yeah.
12? I have 5 on a fucking hand, a possible 6th, and 2 more motherfuckers who just hate one another, but I don't think that they could turn the fucking world into a parking
You
lot.
only think
So what are
5
the other
countries
4?
no, we could turn a country into turn China. We could turn a large chunk of land into. You're trying to tell me we're one of 5 total companies with nuclear arsenals? I think there's.
I'm
more
telling
than
you, we're
that.
one of 8. Possible 8. 7 that's known, if my recollection.
No, that's the key word. Do you want to talk about telling the truth and what we don't know?
Yeah.
I think
Who
there's
hasn't
more
for
than
sure? China, us,
Again, I said.
North Korea.
North Korea.
that. Yeah,
Again, I
what's
say
Kim
I love
Jong-un's
Israel.
status? What's
Israel.
Kimmy up to? Is he alive?
He's alive. Let's see.
Yeah, he's alive.
So,
We're about to have a woman dictator in North Korea before we added America. God damn it, I'm pissed about
So-
that now.
So here we go. The designated nuclear weapon states by the NPT, the Nuclear Proliferation Treaties. China, France, Russia, UK, US. So the Wiseman's Council on the UN. Other states with nuclear weapons: India, North Korea, Pakistan. So that's 6, 7, 8. Now, NATO member nuclear weapons sharing states. These are the people who can't fire them, but who the Big Five allow to hold them: Belgium, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Turkey.
That's
So-
cute.
I don't fucking count
course, Turkey.
those. I don't fucking count them in any
Wait,
capacity.
Why
because
can't they fire them? What stops them? They don't have the technology available or the tools available to fire them, or they just said they won't.
They still.
Germany's agreed to not do stuff before, and then went and done stuff.
Well, I think that's because we have particular safeguards in place as NATO to make sure that these motherfuckers don't go rogue in any capacity with what is our property. So, the France, the UK, and the US, certainly I think have some contingencies in place to make sure that. It's funny you mentioned Germany. I'd be more worried about Turkey, but I digress. Other states presumed to have nuclear weapons are only our greatest ally in the Middle East. Seems to be somebody who we have a presumption has nuclear weapons. That's a funny story about South Africa, but that's for a different time. And then states formerly possessing nuclear weapons, the old Soviets, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and then former Commonwealth territory, South Africa. So we have 5 that are known, 8 that are known, a 9th that's presumed, 5 that we just pass the nukes around to because NATO, and that's it.
Yeah, I personally believe that there's more out there than that.
Well, on black market, probably, but that doesn't mean Brazil is a nuclear arsenal waiting to happen. You know?
Yeah.
But
I'd rather.
here's the thing with there's regulations in place in case they fire. The minute one country fires one, it's fucking nuclear.
Do you think everybody would pop off?
I think everyone's and like Russia. Let's just say Russia in particular has a lot of enemies. They fire one off. How many countries are sending one back?
Yeah.
Even the United States has a lot of enemies. We send one off. How many do you think are coming back our way?
Depends on the direction of which it's being sent off. I would say, because if India fires one in Islamabad or Pakistan fires one at Delhi, I'm not particularly sure that anybody else is so just inclined to fucking fire them off. You know, maybe they would, maybe just to send a message and say, no, this state now can no longer exist. But then you're going to be participating in genocide.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we bomb places constantly without people making a fuss.
Again, sensibilities, Gary. Keep in mind who we are, or quote, we are. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Police of the world.
Fucking bring it on. We can turn the entire fucking world into a parking lot. Fuck with America, somebody.
great.
Like-
Now I have to start digging a bunker because of this crazy motherfucker.
Fucking
Right.
please, somebody. Our button is bigger. Like, at this point in the world, fucking nuke me. It's probably be better than the next 6 months.
No, there's no fucking way.
You can't
This is
say
election
that.
year. This is the greatest fucking time of our life. This is the greatest moment. I love it. I love the fucking chaos. I love that they're hiding Joe Biden in some cryostasis, just only to pop him out to say something extremely racist about black people every 3 weeks before they put him back in and hope the media cleans up their mess. I love the fucking.
It's so
I love
fucking
Twitter
true.
getting hacked. Oh, Twitter
Yeah.
getting hacked is something we
Yeah.
still. need
Oh
to
my
talk
god, we
about.
didn't even touch that.
I don't fully understand what exactly happened there. Like,
Hold on,
Okay.
I'll tell you in just a sec. But
Yeah, Ryan, you take care of this. But
Driver
No,
just told me that Trump got blocked from bringing troops home.
fuck! Holy shit! Okay, what is Congress's big fucking brain explanation regarding that?
I have no idea. I just tried to
I don't
look it
wanna
up.
know.
Because obviously they've been trying to block them from bringing them home from Germany, citing or Russia. But what the fuck? The Germans can't take care of themselves apparently, or maybe
Apparently not.
maybe Gary's sentiments are actually more permeating through American politics than I thought. People are still fearing 75. Oh shit! Here he is.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, dude?
Oh,
So
I'm jumping in for this on video. Oh shit!
So how about the Chrissy? Or are we talking about bringing home troops or the Chrissy Teigen tweets?
Let's
Talk about it all, brother.
Let's start about bringing the troops home because
We just brought that
obviously
up.
yeah,
it's a big campaign promise. I'm wondering what's Congress's big-brained reason for stopping the troops from being brought home, and which troops are being brought home per se.
Well, that's pretty obvious. I mean, they want to wait till Biden has the ability to do it.
So he can get the
Yeah.
credit.
They're gonna wait till the second election year because, like we said on the previous one, you never bring the troops home on your first term because then you ain't getting reelected again.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I can't think of. It's really politically feasible for people like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi to get a win for progressive when they're centrist, like war hawks. It'd be nice to.
mhm.
But they don't want to toss Trump a bone. You know, it's kind of why the Republicans, I think, during the Obama terms, didn't really push for anything on criminal justice system. You know, didn't really want to give them a win, but now they're willing to do that. And like in Trump's first term, they really wanted to work on infrastructure all of a sudden. So I mean, we'll see. But it would be nice to leave that fucking hellhole, the graveyard of empires. Carl reminded me of calling it.
God help me.
Yeah.
It'd be so nice to finally undercut the fucking pharmaceutical industry and say fuck your opium, you assholes.
Yeah, if you look at opium, if you look at a chart of opium production from like 2000 until now, I mean, it just keeps. It's unfathomable to think that people would actually believe, although many do believe that like the troops want nothing to do with opium, or you know the government isn't going to do anything with opium there. But I mean, what corporatist cocksucker is going to say no to all of that wealth? I mean, it's dozens of trillions of dollars worth of wealth.
So much fucking money.
We just have to look at the great game that was played over Afghanistan between the fucking British and the Russians to see how important those poppy fields are, and then take a look at the fucking opium wars that were waged between the British and the Chinese, and see how fucking important all that shit is. But no, there's no way. There's no way that the pharmaceutical industry would ever try to hire lobbyists or get government officials in their pockets to perpetuate 20 fucking years of warfare just to make sure their pockets remain full. No way. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Logan, do you think the neocons and defense contractors and lobbyists are really going to let the war end? Because that's ultimately who drives whether or not it ends.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Brian.
Yeah.
Did you hear him?
How high are you right now?
Yeah.
He's thinking.
All right.
I guess
Oh,
he's
what?
thinking about it.
Was there a question or what?
Yeah, Driver asked, do you think that the defense contractors and the military-industrial complex, or the groups, the neocons, all the groups that make up that shit, do you think they're going to let the war end in Afghanistan because
No.
of the profits? No. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Because every
Flat no.
That's
regime,
it. Decision made.
every regime needs enemies to organize its support against.
China just allied itself with Iran. I mean, they signed some deals and treaties, I think. So I don't think Iran's going to be touchable. So they're going to have to figure out a different narrative. Maybe they'll invade more Venezuela with their super inflated currency and
Just
people eating dogs and garbage to fucking stay alive.
Just fucking, God help me. I don't understand it. I don't understand why the fucking neocons have to make Iran into the enemy, you know? The main focus, the axis of evil, why they have to continue on with this fucking spiel. And I don't know why the fucking left has to continuously want to go fight with the fucking Russians. Just, I don't understand it. The real enemy is the one that continues to fuck with our economy, continues to introduce drugs that kill our populace, and continue to steal our technological secrets. They're the big motherfucking country across the Pacific. You might want to focus on them. Oh, and by the way, it's where the fucking pandemic originated from.
Carl, do you see China as the main like geopolitical enemy of the United States? That's a
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Wait, who does CNN say I'm supposed to hate right now?
Russia.
Well,
Russia, Russia,
you're the white
Russia.
man.
Always, the white man.
White man. Yeah.
Russia and the white man.
Hate yourself.
Yeah.
You need to be apologizing for your straight white male privilege right now. You need to get
Fuck that.
you need to get down on
Yeah.
apologize.
You need to walk
Like I
around
told-
the street.
It's like I
You need
told
to
Ryan
walk down the
today.
street in stocks and chains to protest.
Yeah, of course. When they stop fucking decapitating monuments to my Lord and Savior, I will gladly consider, maybe, possibly, not. I actually won't. Fuck you, all you motherfucking Marxists who constantly try to shame me into wearing a fucking mask, into adopting every single one of your fucking philosophies, into saying, oh, you're hurting me as you're trying to fucking strike me. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, they just burned a Virgin Mary statue, or I think it was part of a church or something like that in Boston.
They just tried to burn down
Mhm.
somebody tried to burn down the Nantes Cathedral in fucking France. Again,
Yeah.
I understand we make jokes about the French constantly, and I know that our particular views on organized religion might vary, but motherfuckers, that's a pretty fucking important landmark for some of us who pay attention to that kind of shit. And it's not like the fucking churches were the historical heart of the culture, you know? So tell me why I shouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
Tell me why I shouldn't be worried as churches are getting burned down, statues of saints are being toppled,
Well,
and not
Yeah.
being punished. Churches are being vandalized. I'm being told I'm evil because I don't have a particular amount of melanin. God, Nick Cannon finally got it right. He actually does believe the gingers have no souls bit. Because clearly, I am the most lacking of melanin out of anybody else on the fucking planet.
Well said, Jared.
So are you not
Yeah.
showing your video, Richter, because you're embarrassed of your red hair?
I just don't have a webcam.
Use your phone.
Oh,
Fuck the phone.
What'd your phone ever do to you to deserve that?
Listen, I'm the one saying the most hot shit takes. I have to have some sort of culpable deniability on this.
Trying to
Yes,
get, you have a full base basement.
Anybody
podcast
should wear a
for-
If anybody should wear a Guy Fawkes mask, it should be J-Rick who comes on.
Do it, dude. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
Driver, you missed me saying that I think Nick Cannon has some kind of point. Because remember, he was forced to apologize only for the anti-Semitic remarks,
Yeah.
not anything
Mhm.
about whites being complete savages. So, I mean, if you're gonna be forced to apologize over the anti-Semitic remarks and not all the remarks, after you made a comment about a particular group's influence in Hollywood, it seems like, you know, unintentional or not, that some kind of greater point is being made here. I don't know. I love Israel.
Well, look, I mean, like you were saying earlier about all the churches and synagogues that are getting damaged in Europe. Rarely do they mention, even in the European media, where that violence is coming from. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking convenient?
Who's carrying it out?
Isn't the most popular boy's name in France Mohammed now?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Careful.
It's true. That's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
well,
mass migration is literally just population replacement.
Yeah, it's destroyed those countries.
pretty much. And The Death of Europe by Douglas Murray, I think it was written in 2016, 2017, around there. That detail it talks about mass migration into Europe and how Lampedusa, it's like the southernmost Italian island or Sicilian island. He talked about how they can only process like 500, 600 a day at their centers when they were first being made and stuff. And when like these migrants were arriving via boat. And he said at the peak in the summer of 2015 or 2016, it was like 3,500, 4,000 a day
What?
in July. Yeah. And
Jeez.
and this doesn't well, this goes without saying, you know, Germany, Merkel decided to take in what later came out to be 1.1 million migrants and refugees into Germany just at once. And now it's a little bit trickier of a political situation because she got some pushback, I think, in an election years later. But, you know, Europe has some real problems on their hands that we don't have here. And I think that's a good thing because, I mean, you look at Sweden, you look at France, and how those particular populations don't really assimilate, and they're a burden when it comes to welfare and whatnot.
No.
Yeah, and Sweden became the rape capital of the entire developed world.
Yep, Malmo. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
Malmo.
before that, it was the most like feminist, like pro women regime in the world, like in terms of gender equality. And now they're the rape capital. Like, how did that happen?
We all know
They took on socialist ideals.
Well, it turns out that when you invite people into your country, when you invite a third world population into your country, you get third world outcomes.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what they're used to.
Yeah.
It's like that couple that wanted to go on vacation and bike Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There was also one in like Uzbekistan or something like that who did that too, and they ended up dead.
There's plenty of them. There's those hiker girls that went into the Maghreb.
Morocco, was it?
Morocco somewhere. Yeah, it was somewhere in the Maghreb, and their fucking heads were sent back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Trying to show how
honestly,
peaceful the world is.
Yeah.
I don't really feel bad for them because to me that's just natural selection, and that's just if you're dumb
Darwinism.
and naive enough. Yeah, if you're dumb enough and naive enough to think that all cultures are the same and that you can go anywhere in the world and people act the same way they do in your home country,
Right.
then that's what happens. I mean, those are the same type of people who probably say that America is the country that has rape culture or that people are treated so badly. So like,
Or slavery originated here.
Objective reality is.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's where we should go on our next vacation, Ryan, is like Burkina Faso,
The Middle
Afghanistan,
East.
Turkey.
God.
Go
go to
Nigeria.
Syria.
Go to Nigeria. I hear
Oh
they
my
treat
God.
Christians very well there.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hear all the time from BBC and Reuters how many
We should
scores
do a
of
base-based
Africans were
podcast.
murdered in like Nigeria and some of these other African countries, and it's like, God,
Yeah.
fucking wild.
Mhm.
Absolutely an asinine.
What'd you say, Gary?
We should do a base basement podcast from there.
Oh, yeah.
Live from-
Live from
What?
Turkey.
Oh, fuck that. I fucking the goddamn Erdogan converting the Hagia Sophia back into a fucking mosque has just fucking all the people who keep talking about stolen land
Into a
never want to
mosque.
fucking bring up Turkey. Never.
Yep. Should we
No.
talk about Twitter?
It undermines their argument.
Oh yeah, Twitter. To lay it out,
Oh.
Gary. So a
It
couple
was-
days ago, it has been a couple days ago now, right? A couple of prominent
It's July
individuals on
15th.
Twitter. Yeah, Barack Obama, Joe Biden,
Bezos.
Bezos,
Yeah,
Elon.
I knew
All
that.
of them got
Bill
fucking
Gates.
hacked. So
Well-
Twitter put out a statement from their support saying that they understand there's some sort of security breach. But-
Twitter itself got hacked.
Yeah, after they put that out, it was Twitter's own support account. So immediately people thought, "Oh shit, this is not just individual accounts. Actual Twitter, the home node, so to speak,
Yep.
has gotten hacked and is compromised."
Because they don't even
So-
think that they got the passwords of these accounts.
Right. So Twitter fucking goes nuclear, shuts everything down. The blue check marks can't tweet for a while. We all have a good time, a good laugh about it. Comes back on, and these photos start fucking leaking onto the internet. And Ryan, do you have them? I could try
No,
pulling them again. But
I
it's
know
been so long.
what happened necessarily, but what I don't understand is people going on like a warpath against Twitter saying what their blacklist and their shadow banning is illegal. And I don't understand that because haven't we had the conversation before about how Twitter is a private company and as long as you have an account with your terms and conditions,
No,
they
they
pretty much do what they want.
They lied, Gary. They lied
lied.
to
Who?
Congress
They lied-
about this.
But who? Okay, so they lied. to
Jack,
Congress, so-
Jack, under oath, lied to Congress saying
Okay, so they
we
perjured,
don't do these
perjured.
sorts of things.
Okay, that's what I didn't
Mhm.
understand what the big legal ramifications were because, like I said, I thought they were a private company, but I didn't know that they're now just purged themselves.
It becomes platform versus publisher.
And it becomes an issue of national
Yeah.
security because if it's so easy for somebody to hack Twitter itself, they could send a statement from anybody, whether it's the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the President of India, or
Trump.
the Prime Minister of India, Donald Trump.
Yep.
Pick your world leader. Pick your nuclear world leader, by the way, and just say, "Oh, I have launched a nuclear strike against so and so," which in the age of Trump, announcing policy through tweet has seemingly become a norm. So there's a massive fucking implication in regards to national security, not only national security, but world security in terms of how Twitter might be easily compromised.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was too easy.
Well, Trump proved, I think it was early on in his presidency, that you can use Twitter as a tool for letting everybody know, including at the Pentagon. He tweeted something about the military, and the Pentagon and everybody at the Pentagon was scrambling because nobody had told them about it.
Seriously?
So, yeah.
I remember this.
I don't
remember
even
the
know about
exact
that.
details, but yeah.
But they were finding out on Twitter, like what the president was directing or thinking about doing in terms of policy.
Was that the Space Force?
That was probably one of them.
God. How much better was their life when Space Force was their biggest concern?
I'm still waiting for the Japs to bring out the Gundams.
Oh.
I'm still waiting for giant space robots of the future.
Pentagon blindsided
That
by
might-
Trump tweets on bases named for Confederates.
So that's,
Okay, so that's one thing, but I remember like earlier in 2016,
there's plenty of them.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
There's plenty of them.
I
Driver's
remember,
absolutely right on this.
there were reports came out that Mattis was pretty pissed about it because he hadn't told, Secretary of Defense, State, Chief of Staff, everybody what was going on.
I remember when the whole of the military celebrated Mattis. What a fucking disappointment that turned out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at what point does Twitter have to start following free speech laws? From where we're at with it as a country, like when does
They're-
it get dictated as the new public square?
They're getting nationalized. I'm fully convinced if Trump wins, they are going to get nationalized. Just because of this, because they lied to Congress, and because of the inherent security risk that is now present upon using this medium as a public square, because it far exceeds the accessibility that mainstream media has. Like, Trump could make an announcement and it'd still take about 2 to 3 minutes to get everybody set up and put in place, even on 24-hour cable news, to be able to accurately present that message to the masses. With Twitter, Trump can just say whatever the fuck he wants, and it's near instantaneous, so long as you're following the account. Or if you're following somebody who does follow the account and they decide to retweet it. It
No.
changes the fucking medium immensely. And to have that medium, it's like Gary said, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe all the other fucking countries do pop off the moment a nuclear strike is announced. Maybe they just pop off immediately. So what happens when you have Boris or Macron or Trump and their account says, I'm ordering a nuclear strike against so-and-so?
Yeah.
That-
And
Do
it's
you think
from
they're gonna
the
fucking-
verified
You think
account.
they're gonna
Is
wait
anything
until the
happen
missiles
to
in the sky?
Jack? Is anything going to happen to Twitter though? Now that this is all public news, or is it just going to get washed away as?
Probably
Talking,
washed
the
away.
senator from Missouri has already called him back. He says, "No, we're gonna fucking talk about this again."
Okay.
Hopefully. Yeah.
That wouldn't be
I-
seen it right off as a right-wing conspiracy theory, and just
Yeah, there-
ignored.
There
Kinda
is
like
no.
the tapping of our phone or the NSA, like stuff like that. That was a huge deal. That wasn't really treated as a big deal.
Yep. Who was it? Clapper? That line?
Clapper, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, where he said there was no like mass.
They don't
surveillance.
they don't surveil phones or whatever, yeah.
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 But they
Whatever
do.
nothing happened there except for fucking Assange is in jail in America now because they paid whatever South African country that is. Like, granted, that wasn't necessarily say no. Snowden, he was the one that whistle blew there. Which remember when the whistleblowing community thing was a huge ordeal, and
Yeah.
now all of a sudden, like,
And now they're like terrorists.
No, back then it was
Mm.
terrorism, but when it's against Trump, we have to love and respect him. But when
Yes.
Snowden comes out, no one fucking gives a shit, and
Right.
arrest
He
him,
was the
arrest
bad
him.
guy.
He disclosed national secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then someone comes and whistleblows against Trump, which that's not even. We don't even know if that's true. I mean, they said the guy's name, but like,
Oh,
there's-
Eric
yeah.
Ciaramella.
yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, Obama launched the war on whistleblowers, as we know. He prosecuted more journalists and whistleblowers under the Espionage Act than all previous presidents combined. So he kind of set the standard, and then just kind of went on from there. Obviously, the media is going to laud whistleblowers, but even when Reality Winner was sent to jail for exposing some of the Russian tomfuckery in our election, the media really didn't prop her up more than a few days. You know,
And the
before-
story disappeared.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even know what you're talking about.
yeah. I don't either.
Oh, all right.
Exactly.
Well, it just shows that it wasn't a big story. Usually
Yeah.
I can at least
Yeah.
see something come across, but I never saw that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So,
Don't
Carl,
you guys love how the?
I remember there were like maybe
What's
Don't you
that?
guys love how the new euphemism? that
maybe
they
2
use
days of
for
coverage.
the CIA and the FBI is the intelligence community?
Yes.
Like they say community because it sounds so friendly. Like it makes you think like, oh, this is just like my local Rotary Club. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
but in reality, these are the same people who said that there were like WMDs in Iraq. This is the same people that did MK Ultra and like
Yep.
everything we know.
WMEs in
history,
the Middle East
like,
were true. though.
how did they all of a sudden become these pure noble people that?
Because they
Everyone-
wanted to get
I
rid
know.
of Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's so fucking. I mean, there again to
it's true.
build on Breon's point. That's the power of language, right?
Yep.
It's the same people who will utilize language in nefarious means to try to come off as being a false friend, as
That's
saying,
like-
you know,
Oh,
I can't even think of an example right now. Honestly, just
yeah.
everyday interactions. Just notice it when you interact with somebody who has some sort of agenda, who will approach you with some sort of flowery type of speech in order to get you to see the error of your ways and how bad you are. But now that hasn't worked, they just mask off and completely call you a racist.
Yeah, calling the CIA the intelligence community is kind of like calling the mafia the Italian community. It's like, oh, he just chopped somebody's head off and sent it to him in the mail. That's just the Italian community.
Yeah.
Yeah, Don Corleone did nothing wrong.
No.
More of a Don Quixote fan myself.
Of course.
So,
Mitch
Carl,
is Don Quixote and Ryan is his donkey. And
what problems do you see with nationalizing Twitter?
what?
What problems do you see if Twitter gets nationalized?
The left would have control over it.
Yeah.
The government,
That's what I think.
government just in general has control over it, but
Left
yes,
already has control.
just by the inherent nature of how it seems like our culture is working right now, the left would have control over it, and that's it's just unacceptable. But the left already has control over Twitter, anyways. It's proven based on their blacklistings that they said weren't happening, based on their throttling they said wasn't happening, based off of purging conservatives of the website, but not liberals, or purging righties off and not lefties, I guess I should say. As again, liberals seem to be finding themselves right of center these days rather than left of center. So, or at least how liberals of an old bygone age,
Right.
20 years ago,
The way it used
define
to be.
themselves as. So,
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about that is right now the media functionally is just an arm of the government. we don't call it that, but that's how it functions. It's like the propaganda arm of the government.
Yep.
So maybe
Yeah, like Pravda.
it might not be such a bad thing if we formally consider them as part of the government, because then at least there might be some accountability and recognition of who they work for.
I mean,
At least
yes
make it
and no.
transparent.
Yeah.
because there's no accountability in the government itself, though.
Yeah.
So how do you expect to hold an entity if it's more accountable than the media? And if you did that, I feel like it'd be more biased than it already is, depending on which side controls, what. As far as just the media goes in general, where if it's full on left, Fox News now, if it's fully media controlled, is no longer a thing. And, it's a tool against like I don't know the best way to phrase it, but it's pretty much a tool against your opponent. And we're seeing that. Look at the Kavanaugh thing. Look at, everything kind of similar to that. Like, it's just weaponizing the masses.
Yeah. Well, to add to your Fox News point, James Murdoch and his wife just donated money to Biden's campaign.
Of course.
Yeah.
Always
Okay.
keep in mind, Michael Malice said this best,
Jesus.
but he is definitely right. These people have always kind of existed in the last century. They're the same people who occupied the New York Times and wrote so glowingly about the Soviet Union, and did so all the way up until like 1960 or 70, when the Iron Curtain was peered behind, and they saw the amount of skulls that were built up into pyramids, and they said, "Oh shit, let's fucking bury that for a bit."
Mhm.
These are just these people, and their tactics are so insidious that it's tough to really articulate it to the average person who doesn't, deeply dedicate themselves to try to study it, because they will just say, "Oh, this couldn't possibly happen. People would never act like this." Yes, they would. Yes, they have, and yes, they will.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, we see how many journalists died with Hillary Clinton when it comes to the media bias in the 2016 election. Not just Stephanopoulos, who worked on the campaign back in '92, I believe, but all dozens and dozens of journalists had dinner with Hillary Clinton. And then there was that story that Hillary Clinton approved to be in the New York Times before the 2016 election. Why do you, a candidate for the highest public office in the land, need to approve a story written by one of the most prominent media outlets or newspapers in the country?
Yeah. Yep. It just shows how they operate hand in hand. Yeah.
Well, Hillary Clinton got fucking the answers to the debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donna
Brazile.
Yeah. People
Donna
think those
Brazile.
emails were no big deal. It's like they showed a lot. They showed a lot of corruption.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Instead of rewarding, we jail them.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's obviously a dissonance from like what we think the media is naively versus what it is. So what we think it is it's like there's a basketball game being played or a baseball game being played, and the media is just the umpire. They're objective. They call balls and strikes.
Yep.
But what's really going on is like they're the umpire who's actually on one team's side, and they just call it in that team's favor.
They're throwing the game. Yeah.
They're paid off.
Mm-hmm.
To correctly put it.
Oh yeah, I've talked to some people. There's this he's an older gentleman that I don't even remember how I came to know him, but we would hang out every once in a while, and we started talking about specifically the New York Times, and he's read the New York Times for his entire life, it seems like, because since I told him like that they're biased, you can't trust them, he lost his fucking shit. Like, people really do believe that they are the middle ground and that they are unbiased. Yes.
The arbiters of truth.
The arbiters of truth, yes.
Yeah.
It is
the so-called newspaper
sad.
record.
Yep. Yeah,
Well,
people totally buy into that.
Yeah.
We need to reclaim the fourth estate.
Okay, Robespierre, how the fuck do you...
I don't have an answer for you. If I did, I'd be making a lot more money and not work.
We just need to do it.
Just do it, yeah.
Andrew Breitbart was trying to do that, and he kind of got murked over it.
So many people.
Yeah.
There'll be blood.
Oh my god. I was just reading through a list of all the people that have been tied to the Clintons that were going to testify that have just mysteriously
They wound
died.
up dead.
It's
Oh, yeah.
insane.
There's a long
Insane.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there.
It goes back to the 60s when Bill Clinton was at Harvard,
Yeah.
if I remember right.
It goes back
know
a
he
long
raped
fucking
some girl.
ways.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Just the fact that the media didn't search for answers when it came to Haiti relief alone. That should have been the biggest red flag for the average person who could say, wait a second, the Red Cross raised over $500 million and they only built 6 houses.
6 houses, yeah.
Mhm.
That was bullshit.
then- You know, the Clinton Foundation
Damn, those must
raised
have been some nice houses.
They weren't. I'll find them.
They just built 6 really sweet houses.
yeah, man.
Sweet in terms of Hades standards, or sweet in terms of our standards?
Well, if they were that expensive, they must have been amazing.
Yeah, right.
But then the Clinton Foundation, well, again, if you read not Profiles in Corruption, but Clinton Cash by Peter Schwarzer, he details this. He talks about some of the shit that the Clintons pulled in Haiti when they would just soak up all funds with well-connected people and consulting firms and consulting groups. And that's where a lot of the donations went. That's where a lot of the money went.
Jesus.
I think they built a gym that was, I think they built a gym with their funds, but other than that, they didn't. And it was in an upscale neighborhood in Haiti.
Yeah. Where
Like-
I wonder where all those fucking funds got siphoned to that were supposed to actually help people.
Exactly.
It's only
Little
the
St.
same-
James
it's
is
only
a
the
far
same
away.
thing it's only the same thing we're seeing now with Black Lives Matter. All the fucking funds that are donated to that organization get siphoned right up to somewhere else. Would you like to take a guess as to where else?
There was that viral video where it showed somebody trying to donate at BLM.org or BLM.com. Right when it came to the donate page, the link changed to ActBlue.
Huh.
And there were a few
Yeah.
there were a few videos like that I watched that got posted. I'm like, whoa, this certainly explains a lot. Because
Raised a few fucking questions, doesn't it? But
Yeah. they raised, I can't remember which organization it was, but they raised a metric fuck ton of money, and only like a few hundred. It was like $35 million or something, and only a few 100,000 went to like helping bail out some of these looters, rioters, protesters, what have you. And then nobody knows where the rest of it went, and it probably just got homed over, transferred to another foundation or another campaign fund.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bernie.
Well,
Never.
yeah. I went on that Black Lives Matter website, and man, they've got some goofy ideas. Like one of
Yeah,
them
they
said-
want to abolish the nuclear family.
they're
I was just gonna say the
Marxists.
same.
They're Marxists. Of course they have goofy ideas. They're self-ascribed Marxists who founded that whole fucking thing. No wonder they're so eagerly participating in Bolshevik-type activities. It's not a mystery. They've said it out in the open. It's not just, oh, the kooky right-wingers are saying everything's Marxist again. Oh, the modern-day McCarthyites are out again. These motherfuckers have said what their mission statement is.
Yeah. Well, there's footage of one of their co-founders from 2015 saying that they're trained Marxists.
I'm sorry, Brian. I interrupted you, but
Oh no,
Please.
no, I agreed with everything you said. But you know, if you think that intact families are like the basic building block of civilization, it's obvious why they would go after that as what they want to if they want to subvert this country.
oh, let's give these alternate types of families. Let's try these alternate types. No, I'm sorry. In fucking Western societies, in Japan, and in China, the concept of the nuclear family, even though it's not professed as such across all those different cultures, the very concept of it is what allowed for those societies to rise to the points of which they are.
Whatever happened to the days of like the good old JFK Democrats and like Camelot and like
They
where the fuck-
died
Too
with,
long gone.
they died with the bullet in '63, Gary.
But like, where did this left come from? Like, I know they've always been there, and I will fully acknowledge that Bernie is probably one of the biggest reasons why it became so mainstream. But like, I don't remember the left being like the way it is now, ever until probably Bernie came out.
A lot of those old Democrats were still very fun. time, we're still pretty racist.
Even the Obama side of things, like the Obama era was, relatively moderate in terms of liberal philosophies, but now it's so fucking extreme. And you give them an inch, they take a mile. Like we kind of talked about to begin this, and like it's just this all kind of escalates into like the problem with Black Lives Matters as not the movement itself, because I don't disagree with saying Black Lives Matter, because like I said, there's obviously issues, but like the actual political organization Black Lives Matters, like allowing them to rise to power, like this wouldn't have even happened as bad as it is under Obama. It would never happen under Clinton. Granted, the country was probably more racist back then, but like, man, bring back the fucking JFK Democrats. Bring back Camelot. Like,
Democrats, leftists nowadays have definitely weaponized wokeness, and they've seen how effective it can be. But there's starting to be a lot of, and we saw that with Ivanka's Goya picture.
Oh my!
Trump's Goya setup.
The distraction. It's the same thing as I love Mexican food. It's the same photo as the fucking Trump Tower bit where they had the taco bowl and everybody lost their fucking minds about it. Why? Why, you fucking idiots? You fell for it again. You've fallen for it again.
4D chess.
They just backpedal. The fucking Trump,
mega baby mega.
the Trump family must be just blessed by God somehow, because they continue fucking backpedaling into such quality shit posts that it just brings them more popularity.
Yep, it's too fucking
Well,
good.
that's what they need right now, because Parscale and everybody running the Trump war room and the Trump campaign really isn't getting them any momentum or anything after the Tulsa fuck up.
They're not. They're not MAGA. That's always been my fucking problem with Trump, is that he always hires the quote unquote experience types from the very fucking swamp that he said he wanted to drain. The fucking Bush family affiliations, the military industrial complex people, and fuck off. John Bolton, kiss my ass.
Bring back Roger Stone now that he's free, because he was Trump's first campaign manager.
Yeah.
And he's free now.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
Clean the fucking slate. I don't care what it fucking takes. If you're going to actually want to win, and I'd rather Trump than Biden, because I think Biden is just a figurehead. It's a regency. It's a regency council revolving around an individual who clearly is not able to function like he did 12 years ago. Let's be very frank.
And even 12 years ago, he wasn't functioning that well anyways, so you can imagine what he's like now.
He's
Guy's
only
so bad
been
right now.
around the wheel of United States political power for about 4 decades. Maybe he should try some new blood. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Have you guys watched Get Me Roger Stone, the documentary, when it came on Netflix?
Yes, I love. That's why I love Roger Stone, because of that documentary.
He's such a fucking genius.
I know he's. Oh, I love that guy.
Here's what Trump should do. Trump should hire Alex Jones for PR.
Press secretary.
Oh my
Roger-
god.
Like maybe treasurer or something, or strategic advisor. And then on free speech issues, he could have like Salman Rushdie and Milo Yiannopoulos. I mean, I think that would be just an all-star fucking lineup, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the gay guy, get Milo back up there.
Oh, god damn. Yeah, it's crazy that he's still on YouTube. He's been blacklisted from everywhere except YouTube.
I know. I can't believe it either.
It just doesn't make any goddamn sense.
He's still going too. I was surprised by that. As much as he gets knocked down, he just keeps going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
You bet. I mean, that would be an all-star team. I mean, Trump would probably win 4 out of 5 electoral, 4 out of 5 states.
Swing states?
No, states, Gary. If he had that rock star of a lineup just coming out and
He'd get 4/5.
Milo apologizing for his homosexuality and saying that homosexuality is a sin.
Yeah.
I would vote just to see that.
Yeah.
I'm of the philosophy that I understand that both sides are just not what we should expect for a fucking presidency or a presidential regime within the U.S. With that being said, I might as well vote for Trump in 4 more years of the fucking car crash, because I don't want to go back to the same. I might be a crazy person. I probably am a crazy person, but I keep me in the fucking car when it's crashing all about, because that's more exciting than looking upon the cliffside and looking at Sleepy Joe and understanding
Oh my God.
I'm gonna fucking fall. Maybe I'll hit a couple trees, but I won't fall off the cliff. With Trump, at the very least, behind the
Yeah.
wheel. With Biden behind the wheel, I know it's gonna be slow and steady. Eventually, he's gonna be kicked out of the car by whoever's in the passenger seat, and then we're probably gonna go 130 miles an hour off of the fucking cliff. But
What if Hillary is his VP candidate?
shut up.
Did I
I
already
would
say
hate-
this? She's gonna come out in October. She's
I
gonna
would
come out in
hate to be the
October.
person that is my life away from Hillary Clinton being president.
It
You're
has to
fucking-
be a black woman. That's what.
Yeah, that's what Biden guaranteed.
Please give me
Yeah.
Kamala Harris, because that would be.
What if they
people-
put Hillary
That's what it's
Clinton in
gonna
blackface and then ran?
So fucking funny.
Oh, geez. Can you imagine if it was Hillary that took over at the fight?
Would-
My dream. Go ahead.
Yeah, would you even be surprised? Like that'd be a perfect
Oh.
metaphor for what that party already is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, the satire would never. The Babylonian Bee would have fucking material for at least a good year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just off of
Yeah.
that and the amount of satire that. I believe it would be a shit post from the Dems if they fucking did that. I would laugh my ass off.
I think what Trump should do to get an edge over Biden and whoever's his VP in November,
Debate them.
just unilaterally reenact the wet foot, dry foot policy for Cuban Americans, because we all know the reason Obama ended that.
Yeah.
When he was, trying to be like the woke guy or the guy who was pro diversity, he probably ended it because Cuban Americans vote red. And so I think Trump could garner more votes, and that even in Florida, where it's a swing state, he might need it, and he might possibly lose it to Biden. I think that'd be one thing he could do. Just say, hey, if you're fleeing communist Cuba, come here, and you're going to be like the antithesis and the anti.
Oh, Mitch, do you know a perfect example of that, Mitch?
What's that?
Uh-oh.
We should just we should bring in millions of citizens from Hong Kong, because they're just like the Cubans and they're
Bingo.
fleeing communism.
Yes.
Here we go.
Exactly.
Well,
Plus, Hong
I
Kong
don't-
is literally. Plus, Hong Kong is also literally the highest IQ population in the world. So, like, there's your productive.
There we go. Let's give them the Dems,
Business
and we'll take all
card.
Hong Kong.
Run them to Japan and then get them over to the west coast of the U.S. That's what you do. Because obviously the Chinese aren't just gonna let a massive portion of their population just go. They're not gonna be down for that. But
What?
if you can engineer some kind of operation to be able to smuggle as many Hong Kongese as
A
you
human
can,
trafficking ring.
Well,
Hey, I know
Notice
Grant
to
West-
be-
already.
Put
We
him in
gotta-
cabinets and
already
Wayfair.
promised to bring in millions.
Operation Pizza and Pasta from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Aw.
I know how to get them over here. You just put them in cabinets on Wayfair and
Yep.
sell it for a lot.
Yep. And then start a conspiracy theory and let everybody buy them. You open it up and there's just like some Hong Kong child.
China asshole. Donald Trump don't touch China.
China
How
asshole.
did this get here?
Oh,
Yeah, I love that video.
That is
That
the
is the
best.
we're in the internet.
Don't trust China. China is asshole.
Well, not China.
But
China's
you know it. Yeah.
That's yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see what the Chinese government would do. I mean, maybe Trump could work a deal where we could get millions of Hong Kongers to
Dude.
come to the United States,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, what do we call 'em?
because that's what the Dems would do.
Or the jobs
Well,
to be
if
able.
we're gonna have mass migration, we might as well bring in the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Just,
Yes.
just
Mhm.
trade all
Yeah.
the inner city youth of a certain race for the Hong Kong people. Good.
Gary, how dare you ever tell me to be careful when you're gonna say shit like that? Who the fuck are you?
I'm a true seer, John. Okay?
Yeah, a true sayer. Uh huh.
I call it how I see it.
Yeah. Notice Ghana extended the invitation. I don't think a lot of people have taken it. So
No.
I-
It reminds me of what
I just don't see how that would fucking work after we know how big of a failure Liberia was. Not to mention, seeing African Twitter go against Black Twitter is some of the funniest shit that one
yeah.
could witness. It's so good. I don't think Africans would want
No.
African Americans or
Well, and the green environmentalists are stopping sub-Saharan Africans and Africans in general from having better lives over there because they don't want regular infrastructure. They want green infrastructure that they want to leapfrog.
which is so fucking funny because
And it translates to shittier, just more shittiness in Africa as the population expands. And then if you have mass migration, like those, a good portion of those people, yes, are going to be hardworking, but they're not going to assimilate as well as if they would have had the infrastructure that we have.
it's a funny thing because that was an argument for decolonization, saying that at the time, most of Africa during colonization was a farming type of industry. But an argument made for decolonization was it would allow for the Africans to be able to what's the word for it? To be independent and to be able to make their own decisions, to industrialize, to be able to lift themselves up, yada 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 yada. And now an argument is being made after their independence against allowing for them to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fucking fascinating. Even 60 years on, that one of the main arguments for allowing the decolonization of Africa is completely thwarted by people who are not of the same ilk, but kind of on the same side of the aisle and hold those same kind of beliefs. Oh, they're wonderful, great, hardworking people, but we just can't allow them to burn coal and to catch up to us at any particular level.
Exactly. And they want to stop them from even having basic flood infrastructure and everything, and it's terrible. And like Greta Thunberg, who say, "Oh my gosh, like, we're destroying the planet." Well, it showed that picture of her on the train where she's like smearing butter all over her bread and like a first class.
Yeah.
People need electricity and fucking energy, and you're trying to stop them from getting it. And leapfrogging doesn't work because you don't have battery storage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you forgot to address her correctly. It's climate expert slash
Yeah.
American school shooting expert Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
Wasn't she
According
on
to
a
CNN.
CNN panel about race too?
Yeah.
Not
I
yet.
think that was a hoax. I
Not
think
yet.
that
Oh, that
was a
was a
hoax.
hoax?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I
think
wasn't
so.
sure. It's hard to tell what's real or what isn't
Oh, I
nowadays.
know.
Yeah. But
I don't know anyone who
I
hates her
mean-
more than Carl. I'm all here for the conversation.
I don't know. It's what's there to be
She's a
fucking
dumb
said
fuck.
right now?
Okay, Greta Thunberg is a dumb cunt. I ain't fucking listening to her. The shit she has to say about the environment, because she's a giant hypocrite and she's a puppet, and I don't not give
Yeah.
two shits about her.
According,
Turn her away
She
from
comes
that,
from
that's
her-
all I care.
When
Well, she
sailed
comes from a
across-
rich background too.
Yeah.
when she sailed across the Atlantic, it was actually 4 times as carbon intensive as if she would have flown, because the 4 people who helped her sail across the Atlantic flew back to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
I think it's half of Sweden's electricity comes from nuclear too, and a lot of
Yeah.
shockingly,
One of the
those
things I've
2
seen you talk
sources of
about online,
electricity
too,
slash
is just-
energy don't really get mentioned on her fucking climate tour.
No. Well, the Greens in general never mentioned nuclear energy. I don't think I've ever heard a single Green mention nuclear energy.
Or how much it would benefit Africa, especially if they could somehow, if they wanted to leapfrog, that'd be the way to do it, with all the private donations that come in the name of, helping out Africa and the Africans on their continent. Well, where does all that money go? The Clinton Foundation raises a lot of money. Many other foundations raise a metric fuckload of money. You'd think be able
Bill
to
Gates.
get everybody electricity, at least solar, and if
Mhm.
they did have battery, or maybe a little bit of microgrid battery storage, but it's just crazy that someone gets pissed away in the name of like, hey, Africa, and
Just keep building those fucking big wind turbines that kill a bunch of birds. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those godless
Like
turbines.
Vegematic for birds.
I mean, U.S. Bank Stadium didn't care about deaths.
oh no,
No.
Still don't.
I'm a fuckload of birds.
I think that's a hoax.
What?
Yeah.
No, I've
What
never
bird
seen a
does?
picture. No one's ever been able to provide a picture of anybody cleaning it up or of the dead birds.
Well, the
Like-
bird's just laying on the ground.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
think for as much as you hear about it, you think you'd be walking into a Vikings game and oh, there's a dead robin, or oh, hey, there's a bald eagle there.
I thought they installed something to
it
help
didn't
with
work,
that.
what I heard.
It didn't work. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, what I want to know is why do we care so much about these birds? Like, this is our country, not theirs. Like,
Birds don't
when
even
do we
exist.
cow-
Birds are
since when do we
robots.
kowtow to them.
That's right.
Fucking
Yeah, they're drones.
Yeah,
Birds are drones by the government to spy on.
The buildings mess with their programming, guys. Can't have such big buildings.
Hey, Ryan, it's probably anti-5G to think about birds. You know, they're probably spreading that 5G.
That's where it comes from. Yes.
Okay.
Have
Is
you
there,
been on that group
Hey,
lately?
is there a conspiracy out there
I don't
where
know.
they think migratory birds carry 5G and can physically transmit it to other?
There might
Oh.
be.
There is now.
There
Now
might
that you
be.
said it, somebody's
Somebody's got to
Just go to
somebody's got to pick this up and say, "Jesus Christ, they might be right."
That
Just go to a
5G,
phone.
that 5G group you invited me to, Ryan, is the worst fucking group I'm in on Facebook.
Yeah. And I don't
I
even think
regret
I
it.
can see it anymore.
I regret it, but I'm not leaving it at the same time.
Is it still up? I can't even see it.
Oh yeah, they are still. Someone like some county banned it, and they were all in about how happy they were about it. Country should do this. It was. Yeah, I'm not.
isn't 5G just like faster internet?
Yeah.
Cell phone service,
Pretty much.
isn't it?
yeah.
Oh, faster cell phone service.
It's all tied together. Just
It's
better
also a
data
menace to
transfers.
society.
Apparently. Yeah, I got banned from that group. I can't even see it. I'm not
I don't
surprised though.
blame- I don't
Isn't-
blame 'em.
Isn't faster better?
Yeah, but except it causes your lungs to fill up with fluid or something, and that's what the coronavirus
Yeah.
really is
Okay,
the
but if
5G.
you go and buy a cell phone, like you buy a new iPhone or Android or whatever from
Mm-hmm.
the store you go to from Verizon or AT&T, and
Yeah.
you take out the you owner manual and you read it, it tells you not to put your cell phone right up next to your ear because your cell phone sends out like radio waves that have been proven to cause brain cancer. But you don't hear people talking about that. You know. Like,
Does it
if
have
you're gonna
that
a
warning?
Stupid ass idea. At least have something to back it up with that makes you say, okay, that's interesting, or hey, I learned something. Like, I'm not opposed to stupid ass ideas, and I think people can have them. Just fucking bring something to the table with.
Ryan, let's start the migratory 5G group. Migratory.
Well, you know what I normally do is whenever I cook something in the microwave, I put my ear right up to it so I can hear my food cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, everyone doesn't do that, or
I don't know. Apparently that's bad or something. I just like to hear my hot dog sizzle, so I put my ear
Whoa, whoa,
right
whoa,
up to the
whoa.
microwave.
Logan, hot dog.
Oh yeah, what are you
Yeah?
talking about? Are you heating up your pizza in the microwave too? Your cheese
Yeah.
pizza?
Cheese pizza.
I didn't know pasta load.
Next to be
Jeez.
making obscure metaphors about cookies.
or pizzas,
Yeah.
or if, maybe people will start telling you their child preference to traffic based on different food items they put on their Twitter page.
Yep.
What if there were
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
is this like an Epstein thing that I don't know about?
Might be.
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate.
Oh, this is Pizzagate?
Code words are hot
Mhm.
dog, pizza,
Hey.
cheese pizza.
Can we talk about
Cheese
Chrissy
pizza,
Teigen
yeah.
quick?
what if
Can we bring
advertise?
up Chrissy Teigen?
Yeah, transition to her. I'll sit this one out. I've said all I need to say about that bitch.
I want to hear Driver. Driver is all about.
All right.
Yeah, driver. This is you.
So she's on Twitter. She knows they're going to be trolls, but the
'Cause
announce
she is
found,
one.
Yeah, the announce found a metric fuck ton of old tweets talking about just really fucked up tweets about toddlers. I don't know, like during the podcast, Ryan
Yeah.
probably I posted a bunch of them. But yeah, just talked about what she wanted to do to toddlers and stuff, and referenced herself as a pedophile on a number of occasions, and that's just like 11 or 12 tweets that the Anons found, and then they started naturally being trolls and shit posting in her reply section. But she said these people are sick, and she's locking down her Twitter, switching to private.
Yeah.
Who, for her family's safety. Well, what I find fascinating about that too is she never explained any of her tweets. Never even said she was joking. She would have helped out her cause if she said, you know what? It's like Michael Ian Black or I guess James Gunn for a few tweets, where they were joking. It was in a fucked up context, whatever. But she didn't even try to explain them.
Well, how do you explain some of them?
Yeah, even out of context.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Exactly.
Seeing little girls do the splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail.
That was like the main one.
Like, how do you take that out of context?
But
Yeah.
Are those tweets all real? Like, I still don't know. Like, did she really say
They are real. They
Yeah.
are real.
My wife doesn't believe they're real either, but they are.
They're real. They're pulled. They're still archived somewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
all of her tweet deleting and privating of her account isn't gonna fucking save her.
Yeah.
The Channies have a hold of this now. Good fucking luck.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, she used to be a model. I mean, that's how she made a living for the longest time. And she wasn't on Epstein's flight logs, like at least the official ones. The anons are saying she was on some other ones, but they haven't been verified. But she was a model, and Naomi Campbell, of course, is a model too. But Naomi Campbell, the difference was she was linked directly to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And she shut down her Instagram comment section. She did a bunch of other things too. She didn't really say anything when those revelations came to light, rather. So it's interesting to see Chrissy Teigen take the same route. You know what I mean? And the fact that that Hollywood celebrities and elitists really don't tweet about pedophilia, child trafficking, or the Hollywood, I guess, atmosphere. They don't really say anything about it, like Elijah Wood, Corey Feldman, Mel Gibson have certainly said about it. It's really disturbing because they're willing to tweet endlessly if Trump makes a spelling error, or if Trump does something, they'll tweet endlessly. It's like, no, how about you guys start tweeting about shit that's going on and that is apparently coming to light, especially if Maxwell testifies.
Yep.
You guys start tweeting about that, but you would upset the people, the powers that be in Hollywood. Like Meryl Streep, she still considers Roman Polanski a friend, and all of Hollywood gave Roman Polanski a standing ovation for his directorship in The Pianist a while back.
Yeah. 2003, yeah.
Exactly. And it's like you'd think they would clap back against something that is so important and something so fucking disturbing, but then you remember, wait a second, they're in Hollywood. And it's a fucking pit of vipers. A den of vipers, just like, who was it? Elijah Wood that said that.
Yeah, and you'd think with all the moral grandstanding they do in their award ceremonies, they could find at least a couple minutes to talk about that one issue, but apparently that's not important enough.
Nope.
No.
Orangemanbad.exe.
Yeah, that's the really important.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were silent, for all of Obama's war crimes, but they praised him as a hero at awards ceremonies and stuff, and talked about how they wish Obama and not Trump. And it's like, what the fuck? He dropped a bomb once every 20 minutes. So I think their virtue signaling is just magnified. And that can certainly translate when it comes to child trafficking, but they don't have the balls / ovaries to even virtue signal when it comes to human trafficking, which is such a huge problem.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, oh my God. I was watching that Mel Gibson interview back from '98 when he talks about the culture from Hollywood, and he took a defensive posture in not saying something to say something, to give a statement.
Yeah, you could see that. Very careful with his words.
Fucking God, we thought Mel Gibson was the fucking crazy one back in the 2000s. Now all of a sudden, and he might still be fucking nuts.
Oh yeah,
but he has a point.
And it's a book that comes from Scientology, where you blackmail once somebody tells you when you take the Thetan test or whatever, when somebody confides in you some fucked up things, you hold that file, and then they become big, you blackmail them. That's what they've been doing to Tom Cruise for how many decades?
And Travolta.
Blackmail. That seems to be a tactic that we're seeing currently with a different group altogether. That's fascinating.
Guys, it's actually called white mail now.
Yes, of course.
Yes, you have to remember your new terminology.
Thank you for not being bigoted bigots.
No, a lot of Chrissy Teigen's tweets really creeped me out. Like there was one where it seemed to she wondered what a human tasted like. And I'm like, are you a cannibal?
All she
It sure sounds like you're a cannibal.
all she has to do is ask Reza Aslan. He'd be able to tell you.
Or like the thing about wanting to see a teen give birth. Where can I go on to give birth on TV? You got this. Was one of her tweets. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
There was another tweet, and people can research these for themselves. I mean, they're all over. You can still find them, although it's becoming increasingly difficult. But there was one tweet where she talked about how strong a toddler's tummy looked.
Yeah.
Kept commenting on it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I know people who like working with kids at daycares and stuff, and they don't say any of this shit or tweet any of it.
They don't say things like that.
Yeah, I'm around kids all the time. You don't see anybody talk like that about them.
You to come up with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where does that come from?
Where I come from, you talk about kids that way, you get your ass beat.
Yeah.
Even that's a line not very easily walked in the face of comedy, and Chrissy Teigen is clearly not a comedian.
Exactly. And Michael Ian Black proved that if you even try to state beforehand that you're telling a pedo joke or pedo joke or something, you're still gonna get just completely eviscerated and railroaded.
Oh, you'll get shellacked.
Anthony Jeselnik, for some people, he's a pretty funny guy and tells these fucked up, like, roastful jokes, and people still try to get him canceled and blacklisted for it. Not necessarily pedo jokes or anything, but like making fun of pedophiles too. And yeah, it's just weird that these tweets came out because, we were just talking about that. We had just done an episode, right, Ryan? And it was a day or two later that the Anons found all these tweets. And then there was that video where somebody asked, where's like the most embarrassing or where's the most public place that you did it? And then this is an interview you can find on YouTube.
Yep.
Chrissy's talking about the White House, and John looks terrified.
Yeah, she's like, oh, the Obama thing. And he's like, oh, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Chrissy got serious. Chrissy got serious, and she was like, yeah, no, it was definitely not at the White House when Obama was there. And they were trying to talk about this, and the fact that she talks about pizza so much, they've been to Comet Ping Pong, and they're friends with James Alefantis. What the fuck?
Right.
It
is strange.
A lot of what the pizza game, and it's so fucking disturbing.
Their explanation for that whole comment, I saw an article and it ended up being like years later, like 8 or 9 years later. They're like, oh yeah, that comment was, we just did it in a bathroom on the Obama campaign. Like they were there for some campaign event and they did it in a bathroom. But that's not the way they acted when they. Well, it's just when you watch the original clip, like, why couldn't you say that? Why were you that uncomfortable to be like, oh yeah, we did it in a bathroom? Like
so, that's funny. You fucked in a bathroom, okay?
Yeah, and then you could just see it in John Legend's eyes how he's just like, I can't believe you just said that. And even she was just like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she slipped.
It's like, that's the way you act about you guys just doing it in the bathroom? I don't buy it. I don't buy it one bit. So, yeah, I'm very curious what actually went down, especially with the connections, as you just said.
Well, and the fact that she talks about pizza all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
I woke up.
Deleted 65,000 tweets, 28,000 in one day, and then the second day she just mass deleted thousands more, and then blocked 1 million people. But she used to tweet about pizza all the fuck time.
She woke up covered in pizza. Isn't that what she said one time?
Kind of pizza fetish?
No, I do, and it's not even that bad.
Does your wife call you Papa John?
On Big Papa, that's right. But no, seriously, it's not normal. That's for fucking sure to talk
No.
about pizza in that fashion. You don't wake up covered in
Not even
pizza.
close to normal.
It's
It was
crazy.
something like that. I gotta find that tweet.
Well, you remember that article I posted where it's 1,500 migrant children have gone missing from the border or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you posted it or whatever, and then it said like this article was 1 year old. There was a disclaimer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
why would that matter? I mean, it's so fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Why does it matter? That's been popping up on Facebook a lot lately.
Oh yeah.
I first noticed it when I tried to share an article and said, "This article is 3 years old." It's like, I don't care. I'm going to share it anyway.
Right. What difference does that
Exactly.
make?
Think about it though. Like, if you share an article about like coronavirus from March, that's generally old information. So I guess I can make sense of why they do it. I mean, they're doing all the wrong things, and there's clearly another motive behind it. But like, they want an easy write-off. Like, look how much something that was said in March about COVID is different than what it is now.
Yeah,
Just the point, you know.
for sure, man.
Here's that tweet. I just
Yeah,
found it.
I posted a few of Chrissy's tweets on my Facebook, and I'm back on Facebook now.
I woke up this morning with a pizza on my chest
why do
and
you
ranch
pick that?
dressing all over me.
Jesus
All
Christ. That's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Ranch dressing all over me. Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah. Like, who would?
Does she have a
Why would you tweet something like that?
Yeah. I am going to jail over pizza. I just saw a baby that looked like a porn star, like a trashy do anything porn star. Is this wrong to think? Skinny
Yeah.
pedos drink Pedolite. Water slide that goes through a shark tank. F yeah, time to get my pedo on. If you said, eat this one bite of human and you can eat any other meat the rest of your life, or Chrissy, you eat turkey forever, I'd eat human.
Okay, like that one, I don't know. She didn't have any other tweets that were like slightly incriminating or suspicious. Like I could be like, okay, that's a dumb joke. That exact one, like.
But you tie them in with everything
so many
else.
Other ones that make you now question.
Or she says to Kevin Chalky, nah, he just said the cleanest and best pleasure is to have sex with a 13-year-old. Up until that. Ha ha ha. Whatever they're fucking talking about there.
Fucking sick.
Really
Like,
sick.
what kind of context is that an appropriate conversation that isn't some sort of negative light? Like,
Yep.
She ain't a fucking comedian, I tell you. Even, I mean, if she didn't have tits and ass, and she, if that was a dick hanging from her, I think that she'd already be in jail.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if
you
she,
got
Mhm.
James Gunn tweets. James
It-
Gunn pretty
well,
fucked
she
up.
has, yeah, exactly. She says even worse things than Gunn, but tits and ass, and snazzy model woman who likes to say snarky shit that appeals to liberal women. Oh, yes, Queen Slay. Then
Yes.
you get away with that shit.
But I think
Oh,
Logan's asking the real questions. Why the hell does Mitch just disappear off Facebook every once in a while?
you just haven't accepted that, Logan.
Got it? I've
Where's
already
Mitch?
given you the answer. He's got to get away from those hoes.
That's
No,
right.
he's hiding from people at work.
No, well, that's a part of it, but
Them hoes.
I'll just get super pissed. Like yesterday, I wasn't supposed to work today. I was supposed to work today, and my boss, who doesn't really show up or anything, and he makes up these lame excuses and
Your
expects
boss.
everybody to stay there until he gets there or take a shift. He sends me a in stomach pain at urgent care, and he might be a little late. Well, I knew right away I was gonna have to stay till 10, and I had stayed there, or I had been there since 8. So he's like, "Yeah, thanks for staying." And then I jokingly asked him, I was like, "What, do you want me to take your 12 to 9 tomorrow too?" And he's like, "Yeah, thanks a lot." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh my
No.
god.
You knew it was gonna happen when you said
That
it.
wasn't an offer.
I'm like, "You know what? fuck this right now, despite the good overtime pay. Fuck this. Fuck Zuckerberg. I'm off Facebook for probably a day. I'm gonna throw a bitch fest, and then I'm coming right back on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if you're ever getting zucked or if what it is.
Yeah.
I always just say he'll be back. He'll be back.
No. I just sometimes I need a break. Sometimes I do get zucked, and sometimes I'm just like, I fucking hate Facebook because every other week we find out more about what Facebook is doing with our private information, and it's kind of fucking honestly.
It does make me want to get off of it, but I gotta stay connected with the boys. So what do you do?
How many people in this chat have been zucked?
I
I know
haven't been
Carl
yet.
has, Mitch has. You have?
I've had 2 warnings, but I haven't been taken off yet.
Yeah, Carl, tell them about your 3-day posting ban.
One day.
About your heinous crime that you committed.
Oh, yeah. I got banned last summer for sharing a Led Zeppelin song because of the album cover, "The Houses of the Holy." It shows little creatures crawling out of the ocean, and you can see they're like bare asses are visible. And apparently, that band that somehow upset them, and it violated their pornography clause, and I got banned for 24 hours.
That's what did it.
Dude, there's worse things online by far. Oh, yeah.
I know.
Just so everybody can see what it looks like there. That's.
We'll probably get banned.
Yeah, Houses of the Holy.
I'm gonna get zucked for this.
If they ever find this,
Posting about
we're all
Disney,
fucking
all the fucked up hires they've had over the years.
Yeah.
Should look into that, Ryan. Some of the people Disney has hired in very important positions, working with children.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. All right,
Yeah,
fellas.
If I can find
I
it.
got for a shift that I wasn't supposed to work. So
Yeah, I've got to start taking off here too.
Oh my
so
god.
Okay.
thanks for having us. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thank you.
boys.
Bye.
Take care,
Yep.
sir.
Hey, Mitch,
Take care.
What's up, Logan?
thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Me and Soul Cry will continue shit posting and picking up and cleaning my. Semper shit post us.
all right, goodbye, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you guys later.